Fuck it, I'll do it for you guys. Let's see. How's it look, guys? I'm sure I look fucking ridiculous. But I do this for you guys. Uh, Man, I feel like if I take this off now on camera, it's gonna be worse for my hair. Oh well. Welcome back to the CoolFigurez channel. I'm your host, Jess the Bat Madrigal, aka the Buff Collector. The information on the channel is intended for adult collectors and not children. And welcome to episode 21, guys, of Coffee and Toys. We have so much to cover today. A lot to talk about the channel, Coffee and Toys Live. Let me see, what else do we have on the agenda? We have some movies to talk about, and of course, some toy news at the end. Of course, this week's toy haul, how can I forget it? But all this and so much more. But first, if you're new, then welcome. This channel's all about cool action figures, analyzing them, hunting them, taking pics of them, and of course, playing with them. If that's your sort of thing, make sure you hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you stay notified when I do upload new content. And if you do enjoy this video or any other content that I put out, please remember to give them a thumbs up. It is free and easy for you to do, and it really helps the channel grow. With all that out of the way, guys, once again, welcome to episode 21 of Coffee and Toys here on the CoolFigurez channel. Like I said, a fun, exciting episode, to say the least. Got a lot to cover, not so much in the realm of toy news, because unlike last week where we had a lot of great toy news, this week the pickings are a little slim. It seems like they kind of just opened the floodgates yesterday, and they kind of just barely opened them for a little bit of a trickle this week. Obviously, with delays and everything that's going on, it makes sense that they're kind of like looking at things and maybe not holding back on a few things other than just pushing it out constantly. So yeah, we'll get to that when we get to that, but let's go ahead and talk about the first thing that I want to talk about today, which is Coffee and Toys Live. If you have not checked it out, check it out every Wednesday on Instagram at CoolFigurez. I go live with a new guest. We talk some toys, toy photography, toy collecting, and so much more. And this week's guest falls under that so much more category. I spoke to Phil, one half of the great team over at Old Republic Collectables. That interview and live will be at the end of this podcast, so if you happen to miss it, it'll be at the end for you, or you can go ahead and check it out on Instagram at CoolFigurez. Thank you once again to Phil for taking time out of his busy day to come on and talk some toys with us. I really do appreciate it, and if you guys haven't already, go ahead and check out his toy store. He has some amazing deals, amazing offerings, so definitely check him out and support small businesses. And also, his wife is a veteran, so it is also a veteran-run business, so please check it out and support them. But like I said, if you want to learn more about them and more about their amazing toy store, stay tuned. That interview will be at the end of this podcast. But I just want to talk a little bit more about Coffee and Toys, guys, and how much fun I am having doing a live show every Wednesday, getting to meet and talk to these amazing people. It's something that I set out as a goal for myself in 2022, and surprisingly, I've already accomplished it, and I'm so grateful and thankful at the response that I've been getting. People have been thanking me for, asking them to be on. And it's like, no, thank you for coming on and, giving me a guest to talk to, so such an exciting thing. I have so much fun. I kind of feel like a late night talk host, talking to them, because I have a new guest every week. It's not the same guest. So, and I do occasionally have reoccurring guests, so it's fun and all. And in that kind of sense and vein, I finally did come up with like an intro and an outro for my show, because I kind of started thinking of it as kind of like a late night, setup and whatnot, because all these people that I'm talking to, I'm most likely meeting for the first time face to face on these conversations. It's kind of like when celebrities go on and talk to late night co-hosts and they ask them all these questions and stuff. It's not like friends talking and stuff. It's more of like, a Q&A. Obviously, it gets into a friendly conversation and stuff, and we keep it light, positive, and happy, of course. And so I'm just having a great time, and like I said, I'm just so thankful and grateful for all the amazing guests that I have already had on and that I have planned to come on. So like I said, thank you so much to Phil of Old Republic Collectables for coming on this week. Thank you for the Toy Page for coming on the previous week. Thank you to Sleeping Collectibles for coming on the week before that. And of course, thank you to Jason B. Michael for coming on to the first ever live coffee and toys. And I look forward to next week's episode, which of course will be with none other than Jason, or as you guys probably know him best by his Instagram handle, the one and only, the great Work More or Less. And then after that, I will actually be talking to Scott from the Spectre Creative channel and page. If you don't know who he is, he was working at, I think it was Mattel, Jax. He was in like the toy industry for many years. I think it was like 30 years. And he has a lot of great insight, not only into collecting, because he himself is a collector, but also in the business aspect, which is very important and very key to nowadays what's going on with everything, from delays to production to price increases, which we will definitely touch upon in this episode. So looking forward to talking to both of them, and I'm already planning on what I'm going to be doing after them and whatnot. Of course, I will be taking a break after the Spectre Creative Coffee and Toys Live, because unfortunately the following Wednesday I will be back on a plane on my way back from the beautiful island of Maui back home. Yes, I know it fucking sucks every time you have to leave those islands, but so I'll be on a plane. I won't be able to do a Coffee and Toys Live, but I will return the following week. I'm not quite sure who exactly the guest will be the following week, but best believe when I know and have it lined up and everything, you guys will be the next to know. So yeah, super excited for Coffee and Toys Live all throughout 2022. Super excited to talk to different people from the community, from toy photographers to toy collectors to people that have worked in the industry that are also toy collectors, so constantly reaching out to people, seeing who wants to come on. A few people say, get back to me in a month or two, or get back to me in the spring. I'm a little busy right now, so definitely going to reach back out to them and see where they're at, and hopefully I can get them to come on and give you guys some great guests. So with that being said, why don't we go ahead and move on to my next talking point, which is my toy photography moving forward. So going back to our first guest on Coffee and Toys Live, Jason B. Michael, in his conversation and talking with him, I've learned a lot, and we decided to do a collaboration pick, which will actually be up, I believe we decided this Tuesday or Wednesday of this coming week over at CoolFigurez and Jason B. Michael. I'll leave his Instagram handle right here, since mine is already the channel name, so you just have to search that. But we had decided to do a collaborative pick, and in approaching this picture, I knew I was going to have to do everything in my power to make this one of the best shots that I've ever taken, because Jason can put half an effort in and still blow my shots out of the water, even if I'm trying 100%, because he's just that good. His toy photography is amazing, and I knew that if I didn't want my shot to look like complete ass next to his, I was going to have to put in some time and work into this shot. And in doing so, I actually created a shot that I was really fucking happy with, which doesn't happen a lot, which I know sounds kind of weird, but I like a lot of my shots and stuff, but this one I was like, you know what, I see the value in putting in the time, the patience, and the effort. I took a shot, I was like, okay, I took another shot from a different angle, okay, I took another shot from a different angle, and that's how I found the great shot that I ultimately ended up with. And it made me think, what more can I create? What more can I do if I apply this to every shot that I do? So I decided that I'm going to put more time in my weekly toy photography. If you don't know, I do have a separate Instagram account for my more thought out, planned out, more edited, more toy photography directed pictures, which is Epic Shots by CoolFigurez. I'll leave it listed right here, because CoolFigurez is my review channel page, and I felt like my toy photography was getting lost in all my review pics that I was doing. So I decided to start a separate Instagram account where it's strictly just toy photography, how I do toy photography, just one shots and stuff. There's no multiple. Well, I guess some of them have multiple pics, but it's not like the review pics where there's 10 of them each time. So I think going forward, I want to put a little more time and effort and dedication into each shot. So I'm not going to be releasing weekly behind the scenes toy photography videos anymore. Not that I'm not going to be releasing them. They're just not going to be weekly every Friday like they've had been essentially since the start of this channel. Believe it or not, I've pretty much put out a behind the scenes toy photography video almost every week since I've started this channel. And some of them are big hits, some of them aren't. I think one of my biggest videos is actually behind the scenes toy photography shoot that I did with Mando and some stormtroopers. So, some of them, like I said, are big hits, some of them aren't. But I think if I put more time and effort into them, uh, I'll get more of a response also, and I can also make the videos a little longer because when I'm going through the pics real quick and trying to get 10 pics for the week, the time lapse videos tend to be like 10, 15 seconds, and that doesn't give me much time to explain and talk and talk about the setup and the lighting in my direction and where my head was and where my storytelling is trying to go with this picture. So I think in taking my time and taking multiple shots, it'll give me a little more time in the time lapse portion of the videos, but also um, I'll be able to explain stuff more. I'll be able to give you guys more info, more direction on where I'm coming from. And so that's why last week there was no toy photography video, and this week either, because I was gonna rush and try to put one out for this week, and I did get a few shots that I took my time on and that came out really well in my opinion, that I absolutely love. But I thought, why not just hold off, wait another week, keep taking some shots, because I have some other shots that I wanted to do. And I think that's the other thing that kind of like pushes me away from wanting to do toy photography is like, I know I have to get like 10 pics out real quick. And if they fall over, I'm like in a rush. It's frustrating. We're here, I'm approaching it. Well, maybe I take one pic today. Maybe I take two. So I'm like taking my time. He falls over, not a big deal, because I did utilize this guy from my recent shoot for a few pics. And then I have some other ideas I wanted to do. So I'm going to include those all into next week's Friday behind the scenes toy photography video for you guys. So that way it's a little bit of a longer video. Usually they tend to be about 5 to 7 minutes. I'm hoping this one will be anywhere from like the 8 to 10 minute range, give you guys a little more content and whatnot. But it's not going to be like all the pics I'm going to post in a week, because also along with taking more time to take my pics, I'm going to spread them out a bit more. So I'm going to post most likely on like Monday, Wednesday, and maybe Saturday on my Epic Shots by CoolFigurez page. That way I can give my pictures a little time to breathe, as Jason B. Michael likes to say. But in absence of those toy photography videos on Fridays, I am going to be uploading shorts on my YouTube when I don't upload a Friday video. And I believe on Saturday I'm going to start uploading a short also, which essentially will be my TikTok videos where I do unboxings. I know I don't push it too often, but I do have a TikTok where I do all my unboxings. So if you guys want to see like packaging and stuff like that and how it comes out of the package and unboxings, follow me over on TikTok at CoolFigurez. So I'll probably just be uploading those. Now, some of them are longer than a minute, and some of them are 3 minutes. I try not to do 3 minute ones because I find that most of the sounds aren't compatible with 3 minutes, or at least not good sounds. So they're anywhere from like a minute to 15 seconds. And unfortunately, on my shorts, I can only do 15 seconds right now. So some of them may be like part one and part two, so I can get the whole video in and whatnot. But I do have a few short ones that are 15 seconds, mostly my package unboxing, like when I get it sent in the mail and I'll just take the product out of the box. Those ones are usually about 15 seconds, but like my actual unboxings, I try to take up the full minute just to really show off the figure. Obviously it's not that deep of a dive. I don't show off articulation or anything because I do my reviews on YouTube. I probably should put in the description that the review's up on YouTube, but I'm just so bad at advertising and utilizing TikTok. That's a whole nother beast. But anyways, guys, so that is my plan going forward, just to try to take time and kind of give you guys better pictures, and also try to hone my skills just a little bit more by not rushing. And that's the thing with me, is like I have absolutely no patience. Even when it came to learning guitar and playing guitar, I would learn portions of a song and I'd get bored trying to learn the rest of the song, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna start this other song. So there's a lot of songs that I know beginnings, middles, ends of, but I don't know full songs. But then I found that improvising and stuff was a lot more fun anyway, so that's a whole nother story for another day. But anyways, guys, that's what's gonna be going forward with this channel and those. But also, I guess we should talk about just general review videos, because as you can see, this week's toy haul is very, very slim, and that's for a particular reason. And that's basically because toy prices are going up. And like I said, I will be going to Maui soon in about 2 weeks, so I need to start saving up for that. So me going out toy hunting and finding new product isn't going to help in that area. So I definitely needed this to complete my Turtles cartoon set for that line after finding the Turtles in Disguise. So that was an absolute have to buy at the moment, especially since I was able to buy it at retail on OfferUp. We'll get into all that when we get into this week's toy haul. But going forward, I'm really going to have to pick and choose what figures I buy this year, guys. Don't worry, I still have plenty of content for you guys lined up. I have a few figures in my Amazon cart that I do want to pick up that are still reasonably priced, that I may pick up just to throw up content as well. Like I said, since they are still reasonably priced. I do have a few pre-orders that should be coming in soon, but I guess let's talk about a few things. So as you can see right here, well, first and foremost, the NECA, Phantom and Flash Gordon are hitting stores, but the thing I want you guys to look at is, well, I guess we're going to need a closer look. So let's enhance, not quite what I meant, but let's enhance and adjust. There we are. Do you see that price tag right there for a NECA Ultimate? When I got into NECA Ultimates, in 2020, less than 2 years ago, they were $30. Now they want fucking $40. Now don't get me wrong, these are amazing figures, and I actually wanted the Phantom just because it looks like a great figure, but for $40 fucking dollars, I'm not going to buy that just for that. And that kind of goes in the vein for other lines. So Star Wars has recently announced that their Black Series and Vintage Collection will also go up in price. So that is another line that I am going to have to back away from and really pick and choose what I really want. Now, obviously, when they announced the wave with the Death Watch Trooper, I'm going to buy like 10 of those guys. But anything else, I'm going to just pass on by. And McFarlane Toys, I am really cutting back on. So the thing is, the prices are going up, their QC's going down. It's just not worth it for me at this point. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a few McFarlane figures I'm gonna get, and I will touch upon that here and there. And in this episode, I'll touch upon it, but overall, I think I'm gonna have to wait till they hit clearance. And talking about clearance, guys, I think the ultimate solution to this, and I don't know if this would work unless it gets brought up on a bigger channel other than mine, because obviously I don't have a big channel, but I do appreciate all and every single one of you that do subscribe and watch my channel, and especially all of you that watch this podcast. I do appreciate each and every single one of you. Even if it was just a single person that subscribed and listened to every single one of my videos, I would be happy, because that's one person that cares about what I have to say, and the fact that multiple people care about what I have to say means the world to me. So thank you so much. But my solution to this would be wait to buy our products. Now, I know it's exciting to get new toys, but imagine if we just all waited as soon as they dropped, just let them sit on the pegs for a few weeks, for a month or two. They'll start hitting clearance left and right, and that's when we pick them up. Just a thought. But like I said, I'm a very small channel, and unless this gets brought up on a bigger one, I highly doubt that, this would actually work on a larger scale. So if you guys happen to know or have any connections to larger toy channels and stuff, please bring this idea up to them, and you can even send them my info and they can talk to me about it. And I truly think that we as a collector base community should fight back on these price hikes, because let's be honest, a lot of these toys are marked up to here, they show up in stores, and then all of a sudden they're showing up in clearance. It's like, well, then why are you charging so much initially? It's like it's a little fishy in my sense. But that's not all toy companies. Obviously that's more along the lines of like the Hasbros and the Mattels and stuff that goes to retail stores. And that's not me just protecting Mezco because I love Mezco, but you can definitely see the value in Mezcos versus what you pick up in stores. Say, now, fuck, a regular Black Series figure is what, $25 with maybe one accessory, no alternate hands, no alternate heads, no soft goods, where you can pick up a Mezco. Obviously they don't have Star Wars, but you can pick up a Mezco for a little bit more, and you're going to get a shit ton of accessories, a shit ton of hands, soft good clothing, and a great head sculpt and stuff. So that's where the shift is, in my opinion. But I guess we'll see where this goes in 2022. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to pick and choose and cherry pick from picking and choosing what figures I pick up this year. Most likely, the majority of the figures I will pick up will be Mezco 1000 toys or higher end figures, because I'm starting to see the value in those figures more than I am in the actual toys you're finding in stores, especially in the McFarlane. Like, fuck, dude, like, you really had to fuck up the face sculpts on all the movie Batman figures. Like, I don't know, have you guys seen the Bruce Wayne one? It looks like utter shit. Have you seen the fucking Penguin one? It looks like utter shit. And what? No umbrella, no top hat, no fucking, like, uh, oh, I'm sorry, he gets, whoops, dropped a slice of pizza. I'm sorry, he gets finger guns. Bang bang, bang bang, bang bang, bang bang, McFarlane. So all I want is the Batman and the Riddler, and at least the Riddler is all suited up, and fucking Batman has side eye. I'm thinking of even just whiting out his eyes, to be honest, just like getting some white paint, and maybe I'll just redo the eyes. I don't know, but yeah, that's all I'm gonna be collecting from that series in line, because the Penguin looks like shit. The unmasked Batman looks like shit. The Drifter Bruce Wayne looks like shit. Even the masked Drifter Bruce Wayne looks like shit. I will be picking up the motorcycle though. Catwoman, I'm not really too into that figure. She looks a little wonky and stuff. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be putting in a cancellation for my wave order and just trying to find Batman and Riddler by themselves. But yeah, so that's basically it in terms of news for the channel itself. So why don't we go ahead and before we get into this week's toy haul, and I'm just realizing now that I forgot to have something to unbox. So unfortunately there will be no unboxing this week, but I'm sure this video will be long enough as it is already, so no worries there. But before we get into this week's toy haul, why don't we go ahead and talk some movies. So I know this is a long time ago, but I recently just saw the new James Bond movie, No Time to Die, in theaters. And that's why this guy's up here on my desk once again. Obviously, because he's not a new figure. I got him a few weeks ago. But they decided to re-release No Time to Die in theaters in IMAX. And I hadn't seen it. I was doing a lot of traveling at the end of the year. And I was doing a lot of stuff with YouTube, trying to get a lot of stuff done. And honestly, movies just wasn't the thing on my mind, except for, of course, No Way Home. And now it is the Batman. I am so fucking hyped for the Batman, guys. We're so close. We're like a month away almost at this point. I ordered a Batman t-shirt, so I was hoping to be in for this show, but unfortunately it wasn't. But it works out because I got this new shirt with this box set, which we'll talk about later. But I will definitely be wearing that Batman shirt for next week's episode. I'm super hyped for it. The more they show, the more they release in terms of trailers and everything, I am just ready for it, guys. But anyways, going back to what I was saying, I just never got around to going and watch James Bond No Time to Die. And my friend Chris, who you guys have seen on the channel before, which I have done movie reviews with, he was telling me that he went with his mom, and because she's a big James Bond fan, and she invited him. And he was like, sure, I'll check it out. And he really fucking enjoyed it. And he would not shut the fuck up about telling me to go watch it and try it and rent it and do all this stuff. And I mean it in the best way possible, because if Chris tells me and he doesn't shut the fuck up about telling me to go watch a movie, it's because it's a fucking great movie. And he was right once again. When they announced that it was back in IMAX, I hit him up. I was like, hey, they're re-releasing it in IMAX. I kind of want to see it in theaters. You want to go? And he was like, I'm down, like, instantly. And usually he doesn't watch movies twice in theaters unless it's like a Marvel film. So I was like, oh, okay. So we went and saw it, and in fact, it was actually only $8. We saw it Monday night, and I absolutely fucking loved it, to the point that I got onto Amazon afterwards, because if you didn't know, Amazon does own the rights to James Bond now. They did recently buy MGM Studios, so they do own James Bond now. And so instantly I got on Amazon, and of course, their smart asses had this on sale for $14.99. So for less than the price of the Blu-ray, I got to see the movie in IMAX, and I got the Blu-ray. So super happy, super awesome. I absolutely love it. I'm not going to say any spoilers right now. We're going to get into some spoilers, but there's another movie that I want to talk about before we get into the James Bond movie, and that is Disney's new Encanto movie. My family decided to watch it last night while I was doing some toy photography, and Thankfully, my family allows me to have my quote unquote toy photography studio in our family room. And so I was doing some toy photography there, but that's also where everybody watches movies. So when they wanted to watch a movie, they were like, oh, we're going to watch movies. I was like, fine, I'm just going to take another shot or two. So let me just finish up. So I didn't really watch the entire movie. I watched the end of it a bit, but it was weird because if you don't know, it's Disney's latest animated release, and the family name is La Familia Madrigal. And if you guys know my name is Jesse. Well, I say whitewash because I learned early on it's just easier either to spell my last name or say it whitewash for people here. Because I've gotten a lot of, oh, your name's Jesse Magical? No, it's not Magical. There's an R there. Can you not see the fucking R? But a lot of people can't see the fucking R apparently, and they call me Jesse Magical. But my last name is, well, the way I say it here is Madrigal, but when you say it in like the Spanish way, it's Madrigal. And so I just don't say it that way because me personally, I don't like to mix like speaking with my American Californian accent because I'm pretty sure I have a Californian accent. People always say Californians have accents even though we don't hear it. But I don't like to mix that with my Spanish. For me, it's either like one or all. I'm either going to use all English or all Spanish. And if I'm doing that, I'm not going to mix. I don't know, I feel weird, especially with me being like a light skinned Mexican. I feel like when I'm in those scenarios and stuff, especially with other Mexicans, they're like, mira este gringo, trying to be like us, and it's just like, no, it's not that. It's just, technically Spanish was my first language, but, you have to learn English to go to school in America, and my dumbass didn't pick it up as fluently as I used to. I still can speak it, but not as much as I used to. But thankfully, I can still hold a conversation. But once it gets to some complicated words, that's when I bow out. But anyways, guys, so yeah, it was fucking weird because if you didn't know, the intro song is like this super Disney produced musical number about La Familia Madrigal. And it's just so weird hearing your family name in a song that's produced by Disney, and a lot of money was put into that. That song wasn't cheap, and it's like, damn. And when I first heard about this movie, I'll be honest, guys, I looked at every single fucking way which I can sue Disney to get some of that sweet, sweet cheddar cheese that Mickey Mouse has. But unfortunately, I don't think there's a way. So it is what it is, but I guess it kind of brings some recognition to my name, right? I mean, we're in a Disney fucking movie. Hopefully Disney doesn't try to sue me for trying to use my own last name. If they do, the mouse will get some fucking rat poison. But yeah, I just thought that was fucking interesting. It was an interesting film, I guess. It wasn't one of their best, I'll be honest. As much as I wanted it to be, since my family name is in it, it was okay. There was really no villain. It was kind of just like the grandma was the villain in a sense. It's like, really, the one time you give Mexicans a movie, you don't even give us a proper villain. Like, you just make our grandma the villain. Like, not all Mexican grandmas are that mean. My Mexican grandmas are very nice. Like, so I mean, I wish they would have been like a more of a villainous type, so that they could have banned it against. But it's just a whole another thing. So I don't know. It was a cool little film, I guess. I just thought it was interesting that it just so happened to use the same last name as me, and it just felt weird hearing them sing it in a Disney produced form. Like, this is a very constructed, produced. A lot of money was thrown at this song, and it's just like, they keep saying La Familia Madrigal and stuff. It's just fucking weird. But apparently, there's also a very famous and wealthy family of Madrigals in the Philippines. So who knows? But this one was based off of Mexican family, so not a Filipino family. That's how I know for sure it was based on us. Well, maybe not us necessarily, although we do live near Anaheim and Disneyland, and I have applied to Disney before. Huh. Coincidence? I think not. Anyways, guys, that's all I have to say on that. I just wanted to touch upon that because I thought that was so weird. Because growing up, it was such an odd name. Although in my elementary, there was one other person with my last name, which I thought was weird because it's such an odd and obscure name. It's not like Smith or Gonzalez or Garcia, even in the Mexican, community and stuff. So it's just weird that they fell on that name. It blew my mind. When I first saw the ad for it, I thought it was literally like the new AI type of marketing where it saw my last name on my username and it was like inserting it into the song. And yeah, sure enough, it came out, and I was like, oh shit, they really are called La Familia Madrigal. So that blew my mind. Like I said, overall, movie, but trippy to watch and hear, considering I have the same family name. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about No Time to Die, guys. So no spoilers right now. I'm gonna go ahead and just say overall, 10 out of 10, guys. This, I don't know where people were getting that this Bond is woke, Bond is bitch, and all this other stuff. I think it comes from a little bit of PTSD from us as fans and what we expect from Hollywood nowadays. We see certain scenes and it essentially just clicks and takes us back to certain things and other movies that have been produced recently, and it's like, that looks similar to that. That was really shitty, and so this must be really shitty. And the scene that I'm talking about in particular is when they were releasing promotional images for the new James Bond movie. They showed him on the back of a moped, behind a girl, and the big title was, "Oh, James Bond gone bitch seat." He's riding bitch seat and blah blah blah. I even fell into it, and I'm not gonna say it played a role in me not going to see it in theaters. Like I said, I was really busy at the time. What really played a role for me not seeing it was I was really busy at the time, and Spectre was kind of a letdown for me. I enjoyed it for what it was, but I was hoping for a little more action and maybe a little more Mission Impossible shit. I'll be honest, I was expecting a little more Mission Impossible. That was the big movie at the time, and so I was thinking they were going to go that route, but they didn't. They stuck to the classic James Bond, formula. So, that, like I said, great movie, still a little lackluster, so it kind of like added to me not wanting to go see it in theaters. But I do own all the Daniel Craig James Bond movies, so I knew I was going to pick it up on Blu-ray just to add it to my collection, and I'd watch it then. But the scene in question when he's riding bitch on the moped, people are like, oh, he's riding bitch, he's going woke, blah blah blah. It in the wrong context, yes, I can see how people are getting that. Like I said, we have some sort of PTSD with Hollywood right now, where certain things we see we connect. But this was not the case. He was at a bar, his car broke down, the girl that he was talking to at the bar offered him a ride home. I think any man would have said yes. If the girl you're talking to at the bar, all of a sudden asks you if you want to ride home after she notices that your car broke down. She's showing interest in you. It shows that you guys are having that connection that you guys thought you had. So, it makes sense. He's like, sure. And so, that's why he hopped on it. He wasn't in the middle of a mission. Now, it does come to be that this girl, spoilers are going to be going on from this point on, I guess, because I cannot keep my mouth shut. It does come out to be that this girl is the new 007. So eventually they do go on missions together, but in this scenario, in this scene, it's not. And they play that very well. The whole that she's the new 007. They say he fell off the grid so far that even MI6 thought he had just died. And when you look at the 00 numbers, it's not like a fucking basketball team or football team where they have anywhere from 00 to 99 to choose from. They have fucking 7 numbers. So it's not like they're going to retire them like fucking jersey numbers. They're going to reuse them. And it wasn't like she was like, oh, I'm the new Bond. No, she's like, I'm the new 007. Like, that makes sense, So it wasn't that he was going woke or anything. He was off the grid, living in hiding, and they needed another 00 to fill his spot. It makes perfect sense. But a lot of people were having this big fuss about it and whatnot. And they even already came out, the creators of James Bond, or the people that, handle it, have already came out and said that he is going to remain as a male character. And they aren't going to start looking for a new Bond until, I believe, 2023. So we'll see what happens there. But I ultimately loved this movie because this James Bond had a beginning, middle, and end. And it wasn't even just like a beginning, middle, and end. It was like a beginning, a fucking middle, and then an end. Because we had Casino Royale, Quantum Solace, Skyfall, Spectre, and now No Time to Die. So that's 3 movies in the middle. That's a lot of time with this character, and the first one that actually has a beginning, middle, and end, because all previous James Bonds never actually had that. They kind of just came and went depending on who was available to be Bond and who wanted to be Bond at the time. Now, obviously, when they first came out with this Bond, it was supposed to be just an origin film, and it was supposed to be, once again, Christopher Nolan destroyed Hollywood in the best way possible by making the Batman trilogy, but he did such a great job that everything in that era had to be grounded in reality. It had to be dark and gritty, and if it's not based in real life, we can't have it on screen. So the original Bond was very lackluster. I remember when I first saw it, was very lackluster. I remember when I first saw it, I was very sheltered as a kid when it came to movies. I was never allowed to watch anything above my age range. So Bond definitely fell on that scale of beyond my age range because it was a rated R film. And I remember one day, we didn't really get watched by my grandma at our house too often. We usually got taken to her house. But for some odd reason, she came over and watched us here. And so I was able to sneak into my parents' DVD collection. And they had recently just purchased Casino Royale from Blockbuster. You know how they would have like their extra copies and they just put them into like the plain Blockbuster thing? Yeah, that's how they got it. I remember popping it in and watching it, and I was like, huh, that's James Bond. Like, they always told me it's like all this action, gadgets, and all this stuff. And that was because, they were trying to base it in reality, trying to ground it a little bit more. But as the series progressed, it definitely got a little looser and not so close to the ground. And I have to say, this movie is 20,000 feet in the air versus, Casino Royale that's like on the ground. This movie is the movie that I wanted to see as a child when I saw Casino Royale. It's like he uses all the gadgets. There's nonstop action, and I think the storyline was great. Does it feel a little forced because they had to create a character? Yes. Does it feel like a little repetitive? But I'll be honest, when it comes to James Bond, I've never been one to be like, I need a great fucking storyline. I need the dialogue. No, I want to see some cool gadgets. I want to see him doing some cool secret agent shit that obviously is not possible in real life. And I want to see the hot chicks and the dope cars. That's just me personally, like when I go into a James Bond film. Much like when I go into a Michael Bay Transformers film, I'm not going for the storyline. Fuck that. I'm going to see fucking giant robots get down and Megan Fox run. I'll be honest with you guys. That's why I watch those films. Great robot scenes and fucking Megan Fox. I mean, that's came out when I was a teenager. What do you expect? I mean, so when I go into certain movies, I don't have these expectations and stuff. And when it comes to Bond, I never really pay attention to the villain or their motives or anything. I'm just like, well, he's a secret agent. He's got to stop him, and that's how it goes. And as long as he has some kick-ass action along the way, I'm happy. And so he definitely uses a lot of the gadgets here that he hasn't been using in the previous films. Although he has upped his gadgets since Skyfall, he started using a lot more gadgets, and then Spectre, and now this one. But I absolutely love that he finally had his time to have this Mission Impossible-ish, James Bond movie that really should have been every movie. But I feel like the natural progression of it building up kind of pays off anyways. Now let's talk about the end, guys. A lot of people are like, oh man, they killed James Bond. They killed him. I think it's a fitting end because, like I said, prior to this Bond, there's no Bond that had a beginning, middle, and end. Here we literally see him get his 00 status. We see him fall in love. We see him lose the love of his life. We see him get involved with Spectre. And then we see him fall in love again, and we see him finally have a child. Now, I did see a funny meme that was like, the second James Bond finds out he has a child, he goes and dies. So, like, that's funny as fuck. But obviously, in the context of the movie, we know why he does that. It's because even if he were to survive off that island and if he came in contact with his daughter or, the love of his life, he would ultimately kill them with the nanotech. So, yeah, I think it was a very fitting end, especially in the way they did it, because there's always that will they, won't they come back, and here they fucking blew Daniel Craig's James Bond up. There's no, and people are like, well, we didn't see the body. Motherfucker, you don't have to see the body when they fucking nuke it, okay? I mean, if they get shot up, they get stabbed, yes, you need to see the body. You need to see the body in a body bag and the tag and everything. But when they blow the island to smithereens and literally one of the missiles lands on James Bond, there's no question about it. And I think that's the best way for it to end. And it's it's a very fitting end for Daniel Craig. I feel like this is the best Bond movie in his series, and I absolutely hate that it had to come out in this situation. Had it come out in a regular situation without the whole pandemic and everything, I think it would have been one of the highest gross films ever. I'm not saying it's going to beat a lot of the top 10s, but I think it would have been the highest grossing James Bond film, definitely, because it's a James Bond film through and through. Like when you tell people James Bond and they've never seen a James Bond and you want to show them this one. I mean, yes and no, because it does tie heavily into the series as a whole. But if they just want to see some cool James Bond action, then this one definitely is it. But that's the cool thing about this movie is that it has that cool James Bond action and gadgets and everything, but it still has a great storyline that ties in to the overall arcing storyline of the Daniel Craig James Bond storyline. So, in my opinion, I absolutely love it. 10 out of 10. Like I said, I instantly went and bought it because I knew I was going to add it to my collection eventually, but I wanted to rewatch it. I still haven't rewatched it, even though I had. I just been busy doing stuff. But now I have the option to rewatch it. I'll probably rewatch it this weekend. But yeah, I think a very, very fitting end to Daniel Craig's run as James Bond. It's crazy to think it's been 15 fucking years since he started. Like I said, when he first started, I wasn't even allowed to watch his movies, and here I am, driving myself to see his latest film. And yeah, we're gonna miss you, Daniel, as Bond. Thank you for the amazing movies you gave us as Bond, and I hope the next Bond can actually live up to you, man, because you definitely set the bar up here. I mean, I dare I say it, better than Sean Connery. I mean, obviously he's the original and everything, but fuck, Sean Connery didn't kick ass like Daniel Craig's did. And so, yeah, guys, that's all I got to say about No Time to Die. If you haven't seen it, then I'm sorry for spoiling it, but I did tell you spoiler warning. But I still recommend you going and watch it because it's a fun ride throughout the whole entire movie. So, yeah. So why don't we go ahead and talk about one more thing before we get into this week's Toy Haul and news, and that is this week's episode of The Book of Boba, or spoiler warning, going into this, The Book of Mando. Because that's essentially what this episode was, right? It wasn't even a Boba Fett episode. It was a Mandalorian episode, which I'm not complaining about. I am not, because I absolutely love that episode, and whenever I rewatch it, and if I rewatch the Mando series after season 2 ends, I'm watching this episode. It's not part of Book of Boba for me. The thing I wanted to talk about is I feel like that's what we were all expecting the Book of Boba to be. You know, I feel like Book of Boba and Mando feel like two separate franchises. There's Mando, and then there's Book of Boba that's bringing more of like the Marvel element of storytelling into the world, where it's like, oh, we're retelling things, we're making it a little more light and everything, whereas Mando is the Star Wars way of telling things. Now, they did try to bring in the Marvel way of telling stories into the Star Wars movies and the sequels, which is why we have all the stuff that we do with them. But I feel like The Mandalorian as a tone is what the series should feel like. And the Book of Boba feels more in line with like WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, what was the last one we just had, Loki, than it does with Mandalorian. Like, Mandalorian is very serious. Obviously, it has light moments and everything, but it just has a certain tone to it that I feel like a lot of people were expecting them to reciprocate with the Book of Boba, which is where we're getting a lot of this mix cross arguments and all this other stuff. And so for me, it's the tone. I wanted a dark and gritty tone like Mando applied to Book of Boba. And instead, like I said, it feels more in line with a Marvel show. And that's great for a Marvel show, but when you set up Star Wars series with the Mando tone like this, I think that's where you lost people. It's like we wanted the same tone, but instead we got more of a WandaVision type of tone type thing. So that's just my opinion on it, but I still absolutely love this week's episode, and I hope they give us another one next week and we get to see where Mando goes, and it's not like he goes and he comes back and we have to see it in season 3 of Mando. But I guess we'll have to wait and see until then. So with that being said, why don't we get into this week's toy haul right here. So like I said last week, I did recently find the Turtles in Disguise 4-pack, and I needed a shredder, so I didn't want to buy the 2-pack with Leo and Shredder, so I went ahead and searched up this pinball set right here because it came with a single shredder. And lo and behold, on OfferUp, this guy was selling one, and he even had my shirt size. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the figure in a bit, but let's go ahead and go over everything that came in this box set. So first off, we obviously have the figures box right here, but let me go ahead and pull the shredder off, and let me go ahead and give you guys a nice look at the box. I'm going to move it side to side ever so slightly, so if the ring light is giving you a glare on it, hopefully you guys can still see all the amazing detail on it. So yeah, super cool. I absolutely love the artwork on this box. Super cool. But yeah, so why don't we go ahead and show you everything that comes in it besides the figure, obviously, because obviously the figure comes in it. So you do get this awesome Bebop and Rocksteady keychain right here from the cartoon. You do also get these magnetic pizza slices, which actually add up to a whole pizza pie, and I just decided to stick them right here on my stand. Give it a little, decorating, whatnot. And also this amazing t-shirt. Let me go ahead and move my mic. So yeah, pretty fucking cool. And last but not least, you do get this crane beanie. I don't know who they thought would wear this, but I'm definitely not putting this on. So yeah. So last but not least, we do have the Shredder figure, and as you can see, he is shiny, and that is because he is not just a Shredder cartoon figure, but rather a metallic Shredder figure, which is another reason why I wanted to pick up this Shredder in particular, because, well, his armor is all metal, so it makes sense that he'd be all shiny and stuff. So I don't really mind not getting the original cartoon version in the 2-pack with Leo or with Krang, and just getting this one right here. So his review is already up on my channel, so go ahead and check it out if you haven't already. But yeah, I absolutely love this guy, and like I said, with picking this guy up, essentially, I'm done collecting the Cartoon Ninja Turtle line, because I didn't grow up with the show. I watched it at an older age, and I do enjoy it. I like it and stuff, but unlike these other people that grew up with the show and grew up watching it, I don't have that nostalgic tie to it. So I'm okay with just getting the Turtles, and 2 foot soldiers, obviously a Shredder, and I did get Zork and Zax, I believe their name is, the Triceratons, when I first pre-ordered the 4-pack in disguise, because I was like, well, they need to fight some kind of villains if I'm doing toy photography, and they hadn't announced this thing yet, so I went and got them at my local Target because they had just been released and they were there, and they've been waiting patiently to have some turtles to fight up against. So I do have two, like I said, 2-foot ninjas, and I did order a few packs of the Mousers, but with this guy, that's it. I'm done collecting the NECA cartoon turtles. I mean, I have everybody that I want, that I need. So yeah, super happy with that. It's weird saying that. I don't really do that with most lines. I'm always constantly adding to them and whatnot. So it's weird to say, like, I'm good with this line. I'm happy. So yeah, guys, with that being said, why don't we go ahead and move on to this week's toy news? So like I said, guys, not too much news this week, unlike last week where the floodgates were just open. This week, I guess they had to hold back a bit. So with that being said, why don't we go ahead and start with my favorite toy company, and that is Mezco Toys. Yes, once again, they had another drop. Man, wallets are screaming. You can hear them from here. I did not pick this one up, but they did announce and solicit pre-orders for the new MDX Conan the Conqueror. Unfortunately, the pre-order window for these has already closed. They closed on Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So as of the watching of this video, even if you watch it as soon as it's put up, it's already too late. Sorry, but yeah, they also put up a Slugfest Barbarian booster kit. So I passed on these things because I just don't have the dioramas for them. And thanks to Jason B. Michael, I'm starting to look at things more along the lines of tools that I utilize for my toy photography, instead of just display pieces, which is another way that I'm looking at cutting back in 2022, because there's always a lot of things, like I said, like that Phantom figure that I'm like, ooh, that looks cool to put on display and maybe occasionally use for toy photography. But now I'm looking at things and being like, can I use this for toy photography? If it's a no, then no. And I don't know if I can do too much with Conan, so I was like, you know what? Pass. Let someone else that really wants this get it. Although I think this was a made to order thing because the limit was 12 per person. So if you got in on it, you got it for sure. So that's all the news from Mezco this week. Still no word on shipping notifications for Nosferatu, even though that was a buy it now product. But like I said, it'll get here when it gets here. But I am patiently and eagerly awaiting that thing because my Doc Knock is definitely waiting to rumble with him. So why don't we go ahead and move on to McFarlane Toys. So they did recently announce and show off pictures for the Penguin figure, which has already been out in so many places, but they just got around to announcing it. And like I said, he's starting to pop up into stores now. So if you want the McFarlane Penguin figure, I don't know why you would, but I guess if you're trying to collect all the figures from this line. But like I said, the face sculpts on the Batman movie figures are just so bad, so bad, considering how good of a job that they did on Colin Farrell's makeup. I mean, this figure is just utter trash. I'm sorry, and I'm sure his arm's gonna break off the second you open it. So, however, they did also announce two new 12-inch Batman Riddler. Now, I don't know if these are statues or figures because I've seen them posted as both. I've seen them posted as statues and also as figures. Like, people have said, oh, these are the new 12-inch statues. These are the new 12-inch figures. So I'm not too sure. But I did pre-order the Batman and the Riddler one because, well, fuck it, why not? Let's check them out. However, if they aren't figures, I may return the Riddler, but I will keep the Batman statue because I am a huge Batman fan. So hopefully those will be out soon. I'm sure it said when they were going to be out, but I never give you guys release dates. I just show you guys pretty pictures and what's to come. So yeah. Also, going back to Mezco real quick, there are a few shipping date changes. Once again, I am not going to do that work for you because the toy page has already done it for you. So go ahead and check out his latest Grove report now, and he has all the Mezco info that you'll need. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to Star Wars. There's just a little bit of Star Wars news, and that is pertaining to the vintage collection Mordak Boba Fett. I guess another Boba Fett, guys. I am a huge Boba Fett fan, if you can't tell. I have a whole shrine dedicated to him back here. And I'm not going to get that figure. It just seems like they're just trying to pump out Boba Fett after Boba Fett after Boba Fett. And as much as I love Boba Fett, I don't need that many, and with slight variations and stuff like that. So Black Series is definitely another line that I'm going to have to be looking at cutting back on this year, as they've announced new price hikes, and they're not giving us more for our money. And I understand it's like, well, it's costing us more to do this, so it's going to cost us you more if we give you more. And it's like, well, then I guess I just won't buy any more Star Wars figures. It's not really that big of a deal in my opinion. I have plenty. I'm really just going to pick and choose like Clone Troopers at this point. I'm really just going to be open to buying just Clone Troopers, and I don't know. Whatever tickles my fancy at the time. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's all the Star Wars news for this week. Like I said, not too much news because we only have one more thing to talk about, and that is NECA. And so on Predator Wednesday, they did show off the deluxe Stoneheart Predator from the Concrete Jungle. And this thing I may pick up regardless of the price because, as you know, I am a sucker for large hunks of plastic, and this guy is supposed to be a beast. That's another reason why I ordered those McFarlane statues, because I love large figures. So yeah, guys, so look out for that sometime soon. They said Predator Wednesdays are coming back, so hopefully more info will be released on that. They only released the picture that they released on Predator Wednesday was only of the back. However, we have gotten images of the front as well. So with that being said, guys, that is all the toy news for this week. Like I said, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to each and every single one of you that have hit that subscribe button. Fuck, I didn't even say it at the beginning. Thank you for 600 subscribers, guys. Wow, thank you so much. Like I said, I kind of didn't even realize when I was talking about thanking you guys earlier. It's like, but yeah, 600 of you have hit that subscribe button, so thank you so much. Like I said, when I first started, I would have been happy if just one person hit subscribe and one person watched my video. But the thought that 600 of you have hit that subscribe button, that enjoy my content, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I'm having so much fun doing Coffee and Toys live, and I hope to do it all throughout this year and continuing it on to the following year and whatnot. And thank you guys, just thank you so much for 600 followers, because like I always say whenever I hit a milestone like this, if it wasn't for you guys, I would just be a grown man talking to myself in my garage when I do my reviews, or in my room when I do my podcast. So thank you so much. 600. Wow, guys. I really do appreciate it. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and let's get to 700 because that's the next one up. But yeah, guys, with that being said, stay tuned for my conversation with Phil of Old Republic Collectables. We talked some toys, toy collecting, and of course his toy store. So I had a lot of fun with that. So once again, thank you for coming on, for taking time out of his busy day. And tune in next Wednesday for Coffee and Toys Live with Jason / Work More or Less. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get on into Coffee and Toys Live. All right, guys, welcome back to the CoolFigurez page. I'm your host, Jess the Bat Madrigal, aka the Buff Collector. And welcome to episode 4 of Coffee and Toys Live, where I speak to a new guest every week about toys, toy collecting, toy photography, and so much more. And this week's guest, guys, falls under that so much more category because tonight I have one half of the team from the online toy store, Old Republic Collectables. So once again, thank you for coming on, and welcome to Phil from Old Republic Collectables.
Yeah, man. Awesome. Glad to be on, man. I appreciate, reaching out and getting this going. So it's definitely pretty cool to be able to get to meet other people on here and chit chat and kind of go over, kind of life and what's behind toys, what's behind the scenes and so forth.
No, yeah, exactly, man. That's exactly why I wanted to start doing this, to connect with people and, really get to see different aspects of the community. And you have a very unique perspective, being not only a collector, but also owning your own toy store.
Yeah. So that was pretty much like why I wanted to, kind of start, having a store. So I had gone through different things and had different collections, and when the difficult times had come and had to kind of settle down and get rid of some of that collection, the first couple times it was like, hey, this is not too fun, I miss it, and then it's like you realize how much of a connection you're making with different people. So I kind of had the mindset was to be able to give people back, like, hey, I paid a lot for these collectibles at that time, but working out deals with people, like getting into that connection with them, and then just seeing that from knowing how bad I wanted those collectibles, and then seeing someone else that wanted it equally as much, but taking care of them with a deal on it. So it opened my eyes up to a lot. There was a time where, really was just a very hectic time in life, and I ended up going to a convention. It was a first ever convention. It was a very, not so much a smaller convention. It was actually, it's like the third one they had within that town. But it was like up and coming. And I met so many people, and I had like an absolute blast with it. So that was what like really wanted to drive me to get a store.
No, yeah, that's great, man. I mean, I kind of like dove back into collecting during the whole craziness of everything. So I haven't been able to have that same feeling of meeting collectors and stuff like that through like, cons or stuff like that. So once again, that's one of the reasons why I started this. And that's really cool. That's, where you kind of started from and whatnot, and building those connections, you basically coming from the same place that they're coming from as well, looking for those figures, but wanting a good deal. And obviously you understand that it's a collectible, it's going to go up in price a little bit, but you're also not trying to scalp it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah,
that's really cool. So what exactly got you into collecting, man?
Man, when I was a kid, I had just about like everything, man. I had like, it started with Dino Riders. That was my earliest toy that I can remember. I literally remember my dad getting that for me. I don't know how old I was very young. It went into, video games, went into Super Nintendo. It was that. And then from there it was Ninja Turtles. I had literally all the Ninja Turtles playmates that had made them. I had all the vehicles, all the play sets, everything. Went to Power Rangers. So every different like era, it was just kind of everything fell into that category. I got into wrestling figures hardcore, like after, I would say, like the Phantom Menace wave that had come out with Star Wars and the Power of the Force line. Really just kind of took a step back from collecting Star Wars. I had like everything from 96 up, and just went into that whole perspective. And then, I kind of stopped collecting for a little bit, and then I got back into it. And now my wife, we were dating at the time, we ended up buying a lightsaber. And we were like, this is so cool. We were at Walmart and we picked it up and we're like, this is awesome. And they had a little lightsaber battle in the parking lot. And then from there, it was just like, we just, how it is. Like once you get one thing, you literally, like, I'm a completionist with it. I mean, now not so much, but for the most part I am, so It was
Yeah.
like, we got to get this, we got to get that line. And so,
It's just one rabbit hole
yeah.
after the other.
Oh, it doesn't stop, you know, because you literally like it. And it's funny because when I first started really getting back into the line, like I understood, you know, all the original stuff, like from Power of the Force up to like the Revenge of the Sith waves and, you know, all
Mm-hmm.
those things. But I totally missed out on the vintage collection star from 2010. I just wasn't collecting at that point. So I had like no idea what any of that stuff was. And, oh yeah, I went through like getting all the like the Star Walls, you know, off eBay. I was like,
Yeah.
and yeah, just going through those things. So it was fun. It was a learning experience, but you know, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to see that.
Well, that's good. That's good. So you kind of mentioned a lot of lines there, but do you happen to have like a favorite? It seems like maybe Ninja Turtles because you said you had all of those.
So as a kid, probably Ninja Turtles. That like if we're talking what I had the most of,
Mm-hmm.
but I think what I have like two of the lines that I have the fondest memories of are Power Rangers and then with wrestling figures. And so with Power Rangers, it was like me and my dad, like we watched, you know, like he would, I don't know if, I can't remember if he watched the full episodes with me or not. Cause like, you know, watching it now, like my kids will pick up on it. Man, I can't believe it's so cheesy. It's so funny, but like we never picked up on it as
Right.
kids, you know?
Yeah, as a kid, it looks
But
great.
we would go like, I know, like it was like, oh, this is like the best technology. But like every Saturday we go to Toys R Us, and
Mm.
so you know that was like the best. I mean, we would. My mom even would go. Like they knew when the toys were dropping at that time. It was pretty cool. So that was like the figure hunt for me. And then wrestling figures, I got into then like creating custom like ring barricades and so forth.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it was pretty cool. Like I, you know, then you don't have like phones to take pictures, so everything was done like, you know,
No,
the old
yeah.
fashioned way. But I ended up doing like a backdrop, printing out like a fan, you know, the fans and everything, and then just
Yeah.
like gluing them to cardboard and setting it up around the ring. It was really cool. So that was like those are two lines that I have like the biggest memories of as a kid, just from that experience.
And what would you say would be your favorite lines now?
Oh, um, probably you know just realist, you know, Star Wars and GI Joe. Like GI Joe, I had them when I was a kid, but I didn't have all of them. And it was like, you know, I was
Mm.
born in '86, so I
Hmm.
totally missed out on a lot by the time that I could like really understand, you know, the whole thing. Um,
Yeah.
so now that they're back, now it's like, okay, like my son, he has no choice. Like he's getting every GI Joe, you know.
I don't think he's gonna complain about that.
No, they're all for him. So it's like they're mine right now, and then they're his when he's ready. But he doesn't know he can't open them. So he's got. It's like you gotta leave him.
Yeah, yeah, that's the catch, right?
Yeah, that's
Well, that's
it. And
good.
then my daughter, she for some reason picked up on Power Rangers. We don't know what that was, but she loves Power Rangers. She loves Star Wars. So
It's
it's
all
cool.
those
It's
bright
like
colors, man.
yeah, exactly.
That's what it is. It's just bright colors and what we thought was great cutting edge technology, badass action scenes. But when you look back, like you said, it's kind of like, okay, you see how they work it and everything.
Right. Yeah. It's like, man, weren't you just like in like the hot desert? Where's like, you know, where's the water coming from with the dragon sword and all that stuff? You know, it's just so funny,
Exactly.
so good.
Exactly. But it's pretty cool when you look back at like the old Power Rangers and you see like the miniatures that they would use and stuff like as actual practical effects or like they build those mini cities and put like people in costumes to fight as like the
Yeah.
the aliens and the Megazord and stuff. It's like nowadays they just CGI all that stuff.
Right. You know, I mean, essentially, if you want to consider it live action, you know, it was live action. I mean, they did what they did with it and with the technology that was in place. I think it was perfect. And you know, for the time too, like everything made sense. You know, like you know
Oh
the
yeah.
backdrops, the people, the way everyone was dressing, and so it was just perfect. Everything was great.
No, yeah. They had a lot of great seasons and stuff. I haven't seen any of the recent ones, but I haven't heard too much good stuff. But I don't know if is
Yeah.
your daughter into like the older ones or like the newer ones?
Just the older ones, man. I tried to
See?
see if she would like the newer stuff, but yeah, it's like it's crazy. She's all about but up to a certain point, I've noticed like she doesn't like the White Ranger. It's just the Green Ranger, and it's like
Uh,
you know, I was kind of the same way. I mean, I was like, I loved the reveal of the White Ranger. I remember as a kid, I was like, oh, it's so cool, just because like
mhm.
Tommy's character was awesome, you know.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
like there's just the Green Ranger is just so cool, man. Like that was just nothing replaced that, you know.
No, yeah, especially me, like my favorite color is green. So growing up, like I love the Green Ranger. When they changed him, I was just like, well, I guess no Green Ranger now.
Yeah, yeah, that was that. Yeah.
Yeah, but so are you collecting the Power Ranger line, the Lightning collection?
Um, yes and no. We so like if I see it, because I don't bring much of like I mean I can select what I bring into the storefront, you know. So if it
Hmm.
depends on like what kind of cases I want to grab or what have you, but um, mainly like the 3-0, that 6 scale set. I picked
Oh,
that up for her. That thing is just like unreal, man. Like the amount of accessories you get in that box set, and then for the detail that goes along with it, and then the nostalgia they
hmm.
put on like all the weapons, it's just incredible. So like that's we got those things for her. And then I'm really into Super 7 reaction lines.
Oh, okay,
Like
yeah.
I love, so for me that's I should probably should mention that like what gets me into collecting lines is like the artwork on the card backs and
Okay.
stuff.
Hmm.
So
A
like
lot of hard work goes into those.
yeah, seriously, like if they do such a good job and like the colors, if they pop just like, you know, like for so my favorite vintage collection figure is Anakin Skywalker Dark Side, where it
Hmm.
says Darth Vader in the pill there. Um,
Hmm.
that stuff's what gets me, you know. So like that's those Super 7 card backs, the Power Ranger ones, I was like, we're totally gonna get those. We're collecting them. Like we have no choice. That's it. We're getting them. Um,
Well, that's
so
that
it's
one
pretty
rabbit hole you
there's a
have to jump
local
through.
shop out here. Yeah, right. It's you have to. There's a local shop here, and they had uh, Karen Ashley, I think is her name. Is she was played the Yellow Ranger in the movie, the
Oh,
first
okay.
movie in '95, I think is when it came out.
Hmm.
Um, dude, super cool person. Like she's so cool, and got to meet her in person and took the kiddos and everything. So we got my daughter this. I don't know what brand it is, but it's very similar to Funko,
Hmm.
like pop, you know, figure wise, what have you.
Yeah.
So we got her one of those, and really cool. The colors, I think it glows in the dark too, which is cool.
Oh shit,
And
nice.
got her to sign it. So she got that
Oh
signed. It's
wow.
pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great, and it's great. I mean, it's an autograph, but I think it's the memory attached to that autograph that's going to mean more to your daughter. She got to meet her with you and she got to see her sign it and everything. You know what I mean? So I think that's a great memory that she's going to cherish for like
yeah,
a long time. So that's great, man. That's great. And that's cool that
yeah,
you're able to connect with your kids through collecting as well. I mean, that's a great thing.
yep,
You guys have something to share, you guys have
yeah,
something to talk about. So that's great to hear.
yeah. No, I appreciate that. That's definitely like, I mean, I'm grateful for it. You know, just be able to connect with them and just have fun. And little do they know when we start doing those Saturday toy hunts, I know a thing or two. So we'll be having a lot more fun that way.
Even better, right? As they get older, they get to get more into the collecting stuff. You get to bring them along more and stuff. So that'll be fun, right?
Yeah,
Get to go to cons with them and
yeah,
stuff.
exactly. Yeah, and I want them to be able to like, you know, take this on one day and do what they want to do with it, you know, and kind of go from there with it. But they got a long ways to go, man. They're babies, so they're four
Well,
and two.
at least you have time to teach them, and they have time to grow and learn along the way as they
Right.
grow as well. So that's the best way for them to learn the business, anyways. They're just growing up around it.
Yeah, they help out, which is pretty cool. It's hilarious. Anytime like, you know, there's a figure going in a box and everything, my daughter will like she'll hold it and she'll like walk really slow. Like she's like she knows. It's like
She knows
but
to
I
be
never like
very
told her to do
careful.
that. You're right, yeah. It's
Yeah.
just great.
Yeah, well, I mean, like they say, the kids learn from what they see, not really from what they hear. So if she sees you being careful or your wife handling them carefully, she's going to do the same thing. So
Yeah,
monkey see, monkey do, as they
yeah.
say.
So
So we kind of touched.
we've been getting up. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Continue.
I just thought it was funny to add. So we've been getting up really early to watch The Mandalorian because I know
Hmm.
I'm going to get spoiled coming on Instagram, you know, first thing and
Hmm.
reaching out
Yeah.
DMs and so forth.
Yeah.
So my son's picked up on it. So my daughter
Hmm.
sleeps in. We get up real early. Now my son's getting up early and he just sits there and watches. It's great. It's great.
So I take it you saw this week's episode.
Yes.
So no spoilers, just in case anybody's seen it. But what do you think of this week's episode?
Dude, I loved it.
Right?
I thought it was, yeah, it's, I mean, it was definitely everything I've been wanting. I personally, like, I love the entire season so far. So I'm one of those, I guess, like, yes, there's moments that I'm like, okay, we don't need that, like, in any Star Wars. Like, you can go back to any film, like, it's not, whether it's prequels, original trilogy, sequels, whatever. There's always some moments where you're just going to be like, okay, maybe toss that or what have you, or you could have added this in place of. But at the same time, it's the story, right? Like, it's where it ultimately goes to. And I don't mind, like, the slow pace, like with the prequels. Like, I love the slow pace because it explains that story. And it's like I personally, like, appreciate the flashbacks with Boba, like, all throughout so far. Like, I love how it's like, man, we get this different perspective of him. So it's like, we all had this perspective of Boba Fett from being so mysterious under the helmet, but now it's like, all right, there's a side of him that is, he's a different guy. He's a softer guy. He's very nice, but it's like, I still go back to that scene in season 2 of The Mandalorian when he got that stormtrooper with the gaffy stick, and I'm like, I know that's coming soon. So that's what drives me even more. It gets me so excited. So.
And I think at the end of last week's episode, introducing who we think they're going to bring in, or as we know who they're bringing in now, I think it's time he's going to get back into that, Mandalorian season 2 Boba, when he sees his old friend.
Yeah, I think it's only a matter of time before he's just kind of like more rugged, if you will, just more direct, I guess, if that's probably what they're going with. But I shared a pretty cool theory on the live stream last night with Jason for Work More, Work Less. And it's just something I just thought of. I thought it was pretty neat. So, like, last week's episode, hopefully everyone's seen last week's episode by now, but with that flashback with Boba, when he, went back and just kind of saw what happened to his tribe of the Tusken Raiders that took him in. I mean, that scene was so sad, breaking it down. But when I thought about that, I was like, man, like, there's got to be something more to that, like, so I'm looking at it where they've all got different gear on, and a couple people pointed out, like, the women and children look differently back in, like, the original concept of them, I guess. Yeah. And so then I looked to these, the new archive re-release of the Tusken Raiders, and they have that, beige look to them. And then I think back to The Mandalorian season 2 when, he defeated the Krayt Dragon and communicated with them and so forth. They were dressed like the original Tusken Raiders. So my thing is wouldn't it be cool if there's, that tribe in that beige outfit, but they're just a little bit different, but they know what's happened to this tribe that took in Boba. And now they can connect with Boba. And if there is that type of, like, the war that's coming, those guys are coming to help them out in some way, shape, or form, which I thought would be so cool. They tie that in a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Tribes. Yeah.
Because, like, they do say that Star Wars is tied into not only just, like, old movies and stuff, but also just cultural things. And if you look at indigenous people, yes, they do tend to look similar, but then they'll have different tribes and, come from different areas. And I think in a time of war like that, they would band together to fight for their own kind, versus a common enemy. So, yeah, that theory seems like it has a lot of weight to it, and it can potentially come true in the next episode or two, So we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. But, yeah, I mean, this episode definitely helped bring the pace up of the season, in my opinion.
For sure.
Yeah, so I'm super excited for next week's episode now. I kind of want to see where they're going to go with it. And I guess, like you were kind of saying, like, this is a different side of Boba we're seeing. And maybe by the end, we see that he realizes that ruling with respect and this soft hand isn't the way to go if he wants to be, the leader of Tatooine. Maybe when he goes into that war against the Pikes, he realizes he has to be a little more savage to be the ruler of Tatooine. And that's what puts him back into that area and that mode.
Yeah. So I wonder, like, what his ultimate, like, end result is that he wants. Like, Jawa ruled with fear. He said he intends to rule with respect. But where is he trying to get to? Like, what's the end game for him?
Yeah, that's what's been keeping me into, is just that whole end point, seeing where it finally, like, finishes.
Right. Like, I still feel like there's part of me that feels like someone's above Jabba, like, from, like, Return of the Jedi era. Because I think this takes place like 5 years after Return of the Jedi, or something to that extent.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
So so it's still fresh there. So like who was like, I feel like who's above Jabba, like who is it there, and then so wherever that goes, I think it'd be pretty cool to see. So that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. So, do you have any predictions or hopes to see in those final two episodes besides who we know he calls? Like, like how he says we need more muscle and stuff. Like, do you have any characters that you hope he calls in for help?
See, I haven't really thought of it that way, like who he calls in for help,
Mm,
Um, but I guess mine would probably be all over the place because like I don't know like exactly where they can go with this. But for me, like I would love to see them somehow do some type of a tie-in with Shadows of the Empire. Kind of
oh,
bring in those characters. Like I
mm,
thought it'd be really cool. Because someone said there was some kind of a theory that there was like a Luke moment that could eventually come to this series. They were saying
yeah,
like
that's what they were saying at the very last episode. There's gonna be like a Luke Skywalker-esque moment.
that's like the big rumor. So it's just like, well, for me, it's like okay, you start to narrow down like different characters. Like Rex would be awesome, but at the same time, like as awesome as Rex, I mean, that'd be the first time we see him live action, really. I mean, in
Hmm.
terms of like how this is all going.
Yeah.
But like somewhat of a character like where we all grew up, like Shadows of the Empire was like, whoa, is this coming? Like, are they making a sequel trilogy? Then like that was what was I thought as a kid. So it'd be kind of cool to see something like, even if it was just his ship, the
Hmm.
Outrider, right? Was it the Outrider? I think it was called, or Outlander. Can't remember the name of
Something
it.
like that. Yeah.
Man, if they did that, would be so cool. So that's like kind of where I'm hoping where it goes in that category.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, those are a little obscure and yeah, like you said, kind of out there and stuff. But
Yeah,
you never know. I mean, you never know who they're going to introduce. It's a whole side story that they can really pick and choose anybody that they want to at this point. So,
for sure.
so we'll have to wait and see. So, are you excited for the Kenobi show?
Yes. Um, yes and no. Yes, because it's like who would not be excited for it, right? Like I just cannot wait to see like you know him back on the screen, like having Hayden Christensen on there again to see where that goes.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like it's gonna be flashback heavy. So the graphic novels, I read all those. I kind of feel like that's where it's gonna head in that direction, and if it does, I think our minds are gonna be blown especially if they put some of those scenes like when I was the first graphic novel I've ever actually read, like series. And
Hmm.
so there was a point when I was reading it where I literally was just like, no way, like out loud, like no way, like just the way that the whole scene happened. And I don't know if anyone's read it. It was a scene where um, they were kind of trapped in this area, and the clone troopers were in that vicinity, and the Jedi were trying to figure out how to get out, and they were like, something along the line like they'll remember or what have you, and then he's like execute Order 66, and then the clone
Hmm.
troopers took each other out and they escaped, and I was
Really?
like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like it was cool because it was like the way the comic book I say comic book, but the way the graphic novel was kind of heading in that direction was it was leading you on, and then once it got to that one point and you read that, it was like whoa. So that I'm hoping that happens, but I'm not that excited because I think it's only 4 episodes and that's it, right? Like, so where can it go from there?
Hmm.
Um, so
I guess we'll just have to wait and see at this point, right? 2 episodes
yeah,
long.
I just like Ewan McGregor's awesome, Hayden Christensen's awesome, so it's like getting them back again for only 4 episodes is such a major like tease in my opinion. Like I
Or
want
four, yeah.
like to me I'm like I'm so I don't know what the word would be, but like I look at these actors that are playing these roles, and like think of Mark Hamill, right? Like
Hmm.
all those years go by, and if there was some kind of film where he could have been in to be able to use it without worrying about CGI and all those types of things. So it's like now that they're here, they can. I mean, they still look great. It's like put him
Hmm.
like let's get him on film, and Adam, more like let's
No,
keep them
yeah.
going.
And I think that's what we all wanted in that sequel trilogy was to see the original three just on screen together, fighting side by side one last time.
Oh yeah,
So maybe we'll get some
I like
flashbacks, maybe
that a
we'll get
lot.
some stuff. Yeah, boss, definitely. I saw that, and also we have someone else saying, "Do you think Mando is going to get some saber training when he visits Grogu and Luke?" So that doesn't really spoil anything in this episode because we know he has the dark saber, and we know he wants to visit Grogu eventually. See his little pal with Luke. So if he does ever happen to go see Grogu and stuff, do you think he'll get some training with that dark saber?
Um, I don't know, and the reason I say that is because I don't know. Like the dark saber is still so mysterious to me. Like, can the
Mm-hmm.
dark saber? I mean, how is there something with that with the Jedi wielded lightsaber? Like, is there something that can kind of mess up the Force or what have you to the extent of like would Luke want that? So I don't know how they would go with that. I hope that to see that. I think that'd be really cool, kind of like a
Mm-hmm.
father son type thing, and they just kind of reconnect that way.
Yeah,
But I've got my personal theory that the yellow lightsaber that Rey has that's Grogu's kyber crystal.
that makes sense, and the size kind of looks appropriate for Grogu, doesn't it? It looks a little small.
Yeah, I think there's something with that. I really do. I think they're going to tie that in some way somehow.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see at this point. I mean, like I said, two more episodes left, and I guess we'll have some answers, hopefully. Or do you think
Yeah,
they're going
is
to
that how
continue
many
that
there?
into Mando? Well, I think
Um,
there's two left in Boba.
is there? I thought there's 8 episodes, right? Or is it
Or is there eight?
7?
We're on.
Is it 7 or 8?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I just probably heard two episodes left from somewhere, and I have no clue. So,
No, no. Now I'm wondering too. I thought it was. I see. I'm like so used to the Mandalorian season, so I'm thinking it's 8.
yeah.
So I could be wrong, but
Let me see.
I've been wondering that. Like I've been wondering where they're going to tie it into. I feel like I personally want another cliffhanger, like they did at the end of Mandalorian season 2, and and
Mm-hmm.
they and they threw the Book of Boba Fett at us and made us wonder what was coming next. Like I would
Mm-hmm.
love something to maybe show the Ahsoka series, um, you know, all those things. I mean, there's so many. I think they even mentioned there was what was it the actress that plays Fennec? She came out and congratulated
Oh,
what's her name? Gosh, the name of it was I can't remember her name, but she plays
Rosario.
Bo-Katan,
Rosario.
and I got it.
Oh, um, yeah, I can't think of her name right now. I was thinking of the actress that plays Ahsoka, Rosario. Uh,
Yeah, I was gonna say Rosario Dawson, but I can't remember now the name. Oh my gosh, that's anyway. But I feel like they're gonna show that series, the Bo-Katan series. I feel like that's gonna be the teaser at the end.
oh, okay. Well, according to the internet, it says 7 episodes.
Mm. I need one more. I need 8 episodes, but all
Needs
right.
to
So
be
there's
an
two
even
more.
number.
Yeah, and I mean they all need to be an hour and 40 minutes. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's asking too much. You need 8 1 hour and 40 minute episodes.
I
Um,
mean, they really could, but instead they give us what, like 45-minute ones.
yeah, it's just too short, man. It's like,
I think they'll learn
and then I
eventually.
know it's like a bag of potato chips, like that chips look, and then it's like all air, so it's like like that 45 minutes is compressed with like 5 minutes of credits. You're like, man,
Mm-hmm.
it's like
Yeah, yeah. So it's really like what, 35, maybe 30.
right, yeah,
It's kind of like when you go back and watch TV shows and cartoons from when you were a kid, and you're like, damn, these things were short because you cut out all the commercials, you cut out all the bullshit, and it's literally
right,
like a 15-minute story at most.
yeah.
And it's like when you go back and watch those things, you're like, wow, the story really moves quickly through these things.
You cut out all the toy ads.
Yeah,
They were
exactly.
trying to sell those like crazy. Now it's like now the toy manufacturers are smart. They rely on all us on Instagram to share it.
Yeah, they're like, oh, well, it's
Genius.
not even for the kids at this point. They're like, it's not even the kids that are buying. It's the adults with money. So let's up the prices. Let's give them better stuff. Let's give them more stuff, and just constantly pump it out.
Yep.
So we touched upon a bit about how you started your store. Is there anything else you want to talk about how it came about and where the origins were?
Yeah. So it was an idea that was like kind of like ready to go. And then so the way everything happened with the pandemic and everything shutting down,
Mm-hmm.
um, ended up just kind of like making that choice and saying, hey, like take this out of my 401 and let's get this thing started. And just literally just like I think maybe 5 to 6 months worth of like nonstop till like early in the morning. Just kind of
Mm-hmm.
plugging away, trying to like market as much as I could. The goal was to like average between 10 to 11 hours of screen time on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to just plug away on Instagram and just get that going. And
Mm-hmm.
that kind of came about that way. So, and it was just a matter of like either do it now or don't do it, and just go from there. But it was, um, I definitely didn't have like the thought of where we are right now, like in my head.
Mm-hmm.
It was just more like I'll believe it, like I'm gonna keep pushing towards it. But
Mm-hmm.
just seeing where it's gone to now is just it's incredible. Like it's amazing. So
No,
much
yeah, I was
fun.
gonna
Like it's just
say
so much
you've
fun
grown.
being.
I was gonna say you've grown a lot fast.
Yeah. Thank God. I mean, it's awesome, man. I mean, it's cool. I think that my favorite thing is to be a part of like some of these collections. I mean, everyone's collection, but it's like there's some collections that you're just like, man, this is so cool. Like there's always going to be those collections where maybe like you know they're going to be there for a little bit and then I get rid of them type thing. But then there's like some that they go to where like they're there for the long run, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like like Tim Connor. I'm sure you probably follow him on Instagram. Like he's gotten some stuff from us, and it's like, dude, that's so cool to see. Like, I mean, his collection's been growing for so long. He's got such a cool story behind it all, and then to
Mm-hmm.
like see like our box arrive and he's like doing an unboxing or anything to that extent. It's pretty neat, man. It's pretty cool. So it's
No,
probably
yeah,
my
and I've
favorite part
noticed
of it.
that you've built connections and relationships with your customers and with people in the community, which is great, especially being a small business that really helps you out, I'm sure, in the long run.
Yeah. And it's cool because you find out like literally everyone's got like the same likes in a way. Like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're all like collecting, we're all about, the different products like within the because everything's like really once you follow, the Star Wars collecting, you're within Hasbro and different lines, like pretty much everyone's kind of following that same thing. But in terms of life, there's so many people have the same kind of preferences and so forth. So you just connect on different levels. And I think that's the coolest thing. It makes you appreciate like so much more. Um, the tough part is getting close to people, and then maybe not hearing from them again, that kind of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
that one's been kind of like different because as you grow and you get a lot of big following base, that's it's going to happen, So it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely that part's hard, but in the most part, it's really really cool to be able to meet everybody.
Oh yeah, that's great. And that's great that you as, a business person takes the time to grow these connections and make them and whatnot, because there's a lot of people out there that can just sell and sell and not really care, or they can say they care, but they don't actually show it. You're showing it through your actions by connecting with these people, talking to them, learning about them and so on and so forth. And, that really separates you from a lot of other companies in a sense.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's what we just try to do that, man. We just try to be able to, you know, that's the mindset. Like no matter how much we grow, like we're gonna continue. I mean, it's just gonna continue because I'm not gonna stop, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like I know the growth is gonna happen naturally from that. Like we're gonna have more of a following base, but the thing is I'm not going to forget like if you want to call it like a small town type feel. Like
Mm-hmm.
I want that personally. Like like
Mm-hmm.
what can I do? Like what how do like what do you want to see from us, like what kind of products you want us to bring in, those kind of things. So like a lot of the products we have right now, we mainly started out with like just it was Star Wars, GI Joe, and Funko. Those were
Mm-hmm.
like the three lines I think, and there was one more, um, but I think it was Power Rangers. So it was those four, and then from there just kind of like getting to know different products. Like I already had an idea to the extent of like going in the store, being like, oh, that's pretty cool. I want to get that like personally. But then it's bringing it into a store is a totally different animal. It's like I need to
Mm-hmm.
know like every collecting like it's all a different market. Like everyone's different with it. Like wrestling figures, for example, man. I mean, there's like so much to learn about that lineup. I mean, it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like things like that, that's been fun to kind of like learn from other people. Like I may not know everything about the product, but like I'm still excited about it, so I'll be able to bring it in and just kind of share that excitement with somebody else. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to be
No,
able to have
that's
people help
great.
out too. Yeah.
All right, so you kind of touched upon another one of my questions that I had for you, which was what products you started with and stuff. But what made you want to expand? I guess you kind of touched a little bit upon that by learning and, being introduced to new stuff. But
Yeah.
what ultimately made you go, okay, I like what I'm doing and stuff, but it's time for us to expand?
So without giving away like where I ultimately want to go, the main thing for like, you know, like expanding is I want to have it, the storefront. I want to get the storefront actually up and, going.
Hmm.
Just be able to have that physical presence. Where I want the store to go, I think a lot of people are going to be like, okay, that's awesome. Like, because I have this idea plan that I think is going to just kind of blow people's minds, where
Hmm.
I'm going to head with it. So that's like kind of where the idea is for expanding. Like, I know that I'm going to have to get into different, product lines that maybe I'm not a fan of, but I know like once I get into it, I'll probably become a fan of it just because like for example, like Hot Toys. I never was into them just because it was like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to collect something like that. One, price point wise, and then with space wise. But I
Hmm.
started to collect them for a little bit, and I just really appreciated like how well designed they were. But then I understood there was a different market for them. So like that's the thing. Like the expansion mindset is just to be a focal point within the community, be able to like bring more to everybody. Um, and be able to take care of people not just on Star Wars but other exclusives as well, like other products. So like now we're getting these Star Wars exclusives in,
Hmm.
different store exclusives, convention things like that. But we can do that with other lineups too. We can do that with Marvel. We can do it with GI Joe. We can do it with all those. So I want to be able to do that with all the different lines.
Oh, that's great, man. It's always good to have those big plans, because that's gives you something to shoot for, something to aim for, and it gives you something to work for. And every day, you have that image in your head, and that's going to push you, it's going to motivate you, it's going to keep you disciplined and consistent. So that's great to have that ultimate dream in your head, and I'm sure you'll get there, especially the way you work and stuff, dude. I have no doubt in my mind that you'll get there soon. So, do you want to touch upon your exclusives a bit? I know that's something that not all toy retailers offer, but you guys somehow get some nice exclusives. So, do you want to explain to some people how that works with you guys?
Yeah, the opportunity kind of fell into our lap, and just we're running with it. It's just like it's incredible. It's an opportunity to bring in, like I said, those convention exclusives, store exclusives, and I mean we get as much as we can, So it
Hmm.
gives some more people an opportunity. We've changed it up to where it's just members only. I think that gives
Hmm.
a fairer opportunity. Um, that wasn't what the membership option was created for initially. Initially, it was just a matter of like, hey, like the free shipping option's there, but like we want to throw some stuff at you as appreciation because that helps us, grow at the same time. Like no doubt about it. There's, that's full profit there, and that's how it keeps everything going.
Hmm.
But having that as the next step for us, I think is a huge thing, and I think
Hmm.
it's definitely good for a lot of people, especially because we're able to get like pretty good deals on them. So we're able to kind of give that back to the collectors and give them an
Hmm.
opportunity, especially like so for me, the biggest thing for me is like when these exclusives drop, a lot of us don't have the opportunity with whatever is going on in our life sometimes to be able to
Hmm.
sit there and refresh an app and try and beat everyone out to buy these exclusives. So it gives those members an option to be like, okay, I can get this, I'm guaranteed this. So that's
Hmm.
the idea that I've always had, where if you're a member, you should be able to like have a guarantee at that product. Now time
Hmm.
comes that exclusives drop, or I should say exclusives. If there's 5 of them, you sign up for all 5, but you can only get 4, then so be it, right? You have the opportunity that they're locked in for you. You have that fair shot. So that's the ideology behind it. Give everyone
Hmm.
an opportunity to guarantee, like, hey, man, I can't do anything with these exclusives today. I got work until so on and so forth. No worries. Your link is live. It's there for you. That's your product.
Hmm.
You say no, it's going to go on to the next member.
No, that's great that you offer that and stuff. And so
Yeah.
somebody actually asked, like, they're like, "Oh, I didn't realize you had a membership." So you're kind of explaining it a bit, but do you want to explain the introduction of how do you
Yes.
sign up and everything real quick for them?
Yeah. So in our bio on our Instagram page, you go to our website or just go to www.oldrepubliccollectables.com. There's different categories. So if you click on collections, that'll show you basically everything we have from Star Wars and the different lines of Star Wars and so on and so forth. Um, Under accessories, there will be a membership option. So once you sign up for that membership, the moment you sign up for the membership today, today is the 26th, so from January 26th, 2022 until January 26th, 2023, you will have the opportunity to use free shipping for that entire year, whether it's on one order or 100 orders. You're always going to get free shipping packed with care like we do. And from there, you get discount codes sent your way every month. I shouldn't say every month. It's spread out. It's whether it's either like every other month or what have you, but it just kind of throws it all in there. You also get exclusive links to pre-orders. So if there's a certain pre-order that's going to go live, we're going to send you that link so you have a heads up, early opportunity at obtaining that before I make it go live. Because if it's not an exclusive and it's a regular fan channel or regular release, but you want first opportunity to get it to lock your order in, you are going to get that as a member. And so the membership, it's $49.99. It's an annual thing, so you're not charged per month. So you pick it up and you're a member, and you get those perks.
Wow, that's not bad. That's cheaper than Amazon Prime, and they don't send you free shit or discount codes.
Really? I didn't.
No,
So
yeah,
I
I
have
think it's
Amazon
like a
Prime.
hundred
And
bucks.
like, what it costs. Oh, really?
I think it's like a hundred
Shit,
bucks for
I
the
gotta get rid
year.
of that.
Yeah, you guys just cancel that and get Old Republic Collectables membership. You'll be good.
Buy my own membership. Like this is there.
Yeah, exactly. So great, man. Great to give people that information. And then you
Yep.
also just recently started a Patreon, correct?
Yes.
Do you want to talk a
So
little bit
not
about
sure
that?
I'm gonna. Yeah. Not sure I'm gonna head with that, like how I'm gonna go about it, but it's pretty much just kind of simple. Like it's kind of speaks for itself in terms of it's obviously for support. It's not like a necessity, but what it is we're just trying to test the waters with it, see where we can go with it. Naturally, the more subscribers, the more we can do. I've got a lot of ideas on how I want to give back. One of those is, I haven't really thought of like the number of subscribers that we would need to hit, but I
Hmm.
want to, I don't know, say right now, if we were hit like 50% of our following base or what have you, like I would seriously consider backing all HasLabs
Hmm.
and bringing those in for people. But what would happen is, it would be retail, whatever the
Hmm.
HasLab retail price was. It's 350, 449, whatever the price is, and you can do payments on it. So
Well, that's not
it's
bad.
just the very yeah. So it gives you the opportunity. It's to be like a non-refundable deposit type thing, but something to
Hmm.
those extents, just to be able to help people get product that they want. Because I mean, there's so many. Like when the barge dropped, I just wasn't in the position to drop money at that point in time. There's other things going on that were more important, and I think that goes on for a lot of people. Realistically, no matter what time of frame it is. I mean, some people are like, "Well, how come you didn't back it then?" It's like, well, there's a lot going on, so I couldn't do it. So we want to be able to. That's one focus we want, but we're gonna hopefully get there once we get more subscribers. But again, like ultimately, it's to hopefully put that towards a storefront, be able to share that with everybody, and just give back more. That's why we want to give back. Like your membership isn't just like, hey, you're subscribing and you're giving us money per month, whatever it is, $1 or whatever it is.
Hmm.
We're even just a follow. Like that's cool, right? But it's a
Yeah.
matter of like we want to give back. So every month we're going to send out like a goodie. It might not be the most exciting thing. It might be a Funko Pop. It might be a vintage collection figure. It might be a Black Series figure. Or it might be, whatever. It might be a gift card. It might be something. But whatever it
That's
is,
something free
it's
that they
still
didn't
about
have.
like, giving you something back and just your appreciation. Like, you know what? Like, you could have spent that $5, that $2, that dollar on like something else, like whether it's coffee or whatever it was. But you decided to do it per month, so we want to give back. It's the only way. To me, it's the only right.
No, and that's great. That's great that you think of it that way, that you see it not just
Yeah.
as a subscription to yourself, but also as, wanting to get back to your community. And I think that goes back to your building your connections and relationship with your customers and all that stuff. You're not just one-sided and everything, you're building that connection, you're giving back to them as they're supporting you and they're giving
Yeah.
to you. So, it's kind of like an equal thing, which is great. And you do give a lot of people opportunities to these exclusives, and honestly, not even just exclusives, but just regular release figures. Sometimes they'll be out of stock everywhere, and you'll be posting constantly, I have this in stock, I have this in stock. And it's like
Yeah.
people should really just go to you because you have a lot of stock. And most of the time when Amazon has it out of stock and all the other ones, you're still posting that you have it in stock. So that's great that you do that and do everything that you do for the community, which is great. So I want to say thank
Thank
you
you.
on behalf of the community, man. I'm
No,
sure
I
a lot of
appreciate
us appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. I mean, it's fun. Like I said, you know, it just goes back to I just try to put myself in a position of kind of knowing how it feels. You can't get something, like it's hard to find it, or it could be without out that range. And yeah, there's some markup in some of the exclusives that we're able to obtain just because of the premiums that we're getting them at. But for the most part, like that's the reason I do it, is I just remember those feelings like where you just can't find it, or it's like, man, like literally, like you get to that point where, because I'm a completionist, for the most part with them, and it's like you get to that point where you can't get that one figure, it kind of messes up that your mojo with collecting that line. So
No, yeah.
I try to remember. That's the biggest thing. Is just, man, it's a lot of fun.
No, yeah, that's great, man. Like I said, that's great that you do that for the whole community. But I guess now we have to get into some of the not the odder, but like some of the more serious aspects of the business. What do you like about owning a toy
Yeah.
company, and what do you not like about owning a toy company?
So I'm gonna probably be really cliche here and say there isn't anything I don't like. Um, and
That's
honestly,
great
like
though.
I
That's
mean this
good.
from the bottom of my heart. Like everyone that supports us, whether it's a follow or buying from us, like the fact that you like put your trust in us. And I mean, because we're on Instagram, like that's our shop is mainly focused on that. We have our website, we're our licensed retailer, but like that is, I'm so grateful for that, man. Like honestly, it'd be like never thought, like I said, never thought we'd be like this far where we are right now. So um, those are all my likes, or the appreciation of it, and where it's going. And it's just been able to, you know, I don't collect as much anymore personally because now it's different. Now I've had that opportunity to sit down with Jason at Work More, Work Less and just kind of talk about like collecting in a different perspective,
Hmm.
kind of getting what means the most to you, which I'll kind of touch on that in a second. But
Hmm.
for me, it's like once I get those cases in and I'm able to open those cases and open those, right away and see that whole wave, um, I've kind of lived it. I've lived that, that wave, that series, and then it goes on,
Yeah.
it goes to somebody else, and then someone like, man, when everyone posts their mail calls and like another arrival, it's awesome. Like it is literally the best feeling. So like it's already done there. Like so it's weird. It's bringing me out of collecting, but it's bringing me like a different appreciation for the lineup in itself. Um,
Hmm.
and then I guess what I was going to kind of go back to, like it opened up my eyes to my kiddos in the background. It opened my eyes to like I think so many times we get like so worked up on what we can't get that we like, or we buy so much of like so many different lines, and it's like you kind of get worked up. We're like, oh, I can't get all these items, so you kind of get mad at like collecting. And it's like
Hmm.
if you take that step and just get what means the most to you, like that brings a totally different perspective of collecting, man. Like it's seriously opened up my eyes so much. Like I've trimmed down the collection, so that to bring in different products and stuff like that. And man, I just love them so much more. Like I have like what means the most to me.
Well, that's great, man. And honestly, yeah,
Love that.
it's getting to the point where I think a lot of people are looking at their collection, being like, I think I need to slow down. I think I need to cut back and thin it out a bit to make a little bit of more space and whatnot. Because it seems like nowadays, like toy companies are just pumping and pumping and pumping stuff out like constantly. Especially when you
Yeah.
look at like Marvel Legends and wrestling, like every week they're announcing a new wave. It's like, wow.
Seriously. Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, like, I love what Steve Evans wrote, love your job, you won't work a day in your life. And
Hmm.
that's so cool he's on the live. But that's the other thing too, like, it is hard to keep up with sometimes, it's like, man, this is crazy. But at the same time, it's like, I can remember slightly based on my age when there was that time where there was no figures. So it's
Mm.
like, which one do you want, right? Like, which, you can't control like all the stuff in between. Like, yeah, it might, the inflation might not be fun, obviously. I mean,
Hmm.
definitely not a good thing. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like, when, if you don't have those on the shelf, like, then what do you do? Like, collecting is, for so many people, like when I first started collecting, when I first got into it, man, it just took me away from so much stuff. Um, there's so many things you can maybe do and not do. And I think that's the thing. Collecting is really underrated of
Hmm.
how many people it helps.
No, yeah, no, it's true. It's a hobby that brings joy, and I think that's the thing that a lot of people kind of forget about it is that it should be a hobby that
Yeah.
brings you joy, and I understand it's frustrating not being able to find the figure you want. But at the end of the day, we're grown adults chasing plastic. I mean, you have to look at it from a lighthearted side at a point. And yeah, I know it's like you said, it sucks not being able to get that figure that you want. But at the end of the day, hopefully you'll be able to get the next one, so.
And so to that point, man, great point you just said. So I initially went in, I went through times where I had to wind down on different collections. And there
Hmm.
were so many things that I got rid of, so many rare pieces.
Hmm.
But then those new pieces come out, and those new pieces kind of offset for the older things. And there's some that you definitely are like, man, I shouldn't have got rid of that one, what have you.
Yeah.
But there, it's like, what are you collecting for? Like, it really depends on what you're collecting for and how much it's going to mean to you. Like, are you collecting for the monetary value down the road? Are you collecting for the love of the figure and what it represents?
The
Um,
nostalgia.
the nostalgia, exactly. So like all those things factor in. And
Hmm.
the other thing is how many times I've kind of gone through those collection phases, they're still easy able to obtain. You can always
Mm.
go out and find them. Someone's always going to come through. Um, it's not like, like Luke, no one's ever really gone. Right? I mean, that's it. Nothing's ever really gone.
Yeah.
You'll be able to get it again. So don't sweat it. And like you said, it's plastic, right?
Hmm.
Um, but I will tell you that I have gotten into the habit of opening figures.
Oh, you
Uh,
were.
yeah, it's definitely. Am I good? Connection good?
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Sorry, I looked like connection went away.
It's all good. Yeah. You're
So
good.
I started opening figures, and I think that that happened from like a while ago. I just kind of like started like I didn't realize how many I had, and I went through like a couple boxes. I'm like rearranging some stuff, and I went through a couple boxes, and I had like three big boxes filled with all these loose Black Series and vintage collection figures. And I
Hmm.
was like, all right, maybe I want to go into buying, loose figures. So I have dove into that. I've been buying, um, loose figure lots.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of stuff that I'm kind of working on. So I'm pretty excited with where I'm going to head with that.
You could actually finally play with the toys.
Yeah, just display them, man. They just look so cool. Like I really, it's like, I'm really digging the whole, like, yes, let them breathe. They're breathing. So I want to get
Yep.
those acrylic stands, the layered ones, and I
Mm.
really want to do that. So like I'm all about Sith Troopers. I love those, dude. They're so cool. I love the fact that that was the next phase of the evolution for the Stormtrooper where they were headed.
Yeah.
So, like it's just so cool to me. So I want like I have a bunch of them. I just ended up I picked up Palpatine and the throne. I got
Ooh,
a pretty
nice.
cool deal. I knew where it was. I knew the price on it. It's open, but literally the joints are tight on it. It's perfect. All the bolt head sculpts, the lightning, and all that stuff. So now I've got like my whole Sith kind of army ready to go. And then for my daughter, because she loves the Book of Boba Fett and she loves the Mandalorian. My next plan is to get roughly like 16 of the Navarro Cantinas, the TVC ones,
Oh,
and I
wow.
want to make her like a little play set and just kind of put them all together and maybe like whether some of them kind of make them a little bit different, you know, and just set it up that way and see where it goes. So I'm all about that now. I'm into that phase.
Wow, that sounds great, man. You sound like a cool ass dad.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I can't wait.
Oh, that's great, man. I'm sure you'll be posting progress pics as you do it along the way, so I'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah, for sure, dude. It's going to be pretty cool.
So do you want to talk about the recent news that there's going to be price hikes again? You
Yeah.
want to address that a bit?
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. And I think like, it's all over, man. Like it's not just figures, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's definitely going to be tough for small businesses, I think, really. I mean, at the end of the day, and just but everybody. It's not just small businesses that sell toys. It's restaurants. It's mom and pop shops. It's all those things. It just there's a domino effect, if you will, right? But
Oh yeah.
my thing is as much as I get frustrated about it, and as much as it's bothersome, it's at the same time it's like I just hope and pray like whatever happens, and everything kind of works out to where we can kind of still keep doing what we're doing, and whether that means more growth, you know, just kind of adapt to the situations that are going to be there now. You know, it's definitely not fun. Like I said, it's not. It's going to take a toll on collecting. I think for some people, I think you know, for me included, like that's part of the reason why I don't have like all the TVC that I want, just because there's so much that you know, so like I guess what I'm trying to say with that is there's so much you miss out on. It's hard to go back and try and get them all because of the price increases on them now and like how much they've gone to. So I think that's what worries me is like, you know, will we still see a lot of figures like in the lineup? Will we see will you know how many releases will there be in a month or what have you,
Yeah.
2 month span? So I wonder where all that's going to go, but yeah, it's definitely crazy, man. There's a lot of stuff going on. You know, you go around, see it all in the supermarket, man. You see it everywhere. So it's pretty crazy, you know.
Oh yeah, like you said, it's not just the toy community, you know, like shipping, supermarket, gas, everything, you know, everything's just going up. So like you said, a domino effect, man, unfortunately.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah, no, for sure, man. It's like so my dad's in the lumber industry, you know, so he's seeing it too, like on his end, like he sees, you know, the whole increase there. So it's like I said, it's not just with, you know, with action figures and different collectibles. I mean, it's literally across the board for everything. So just crazy times, man. You know, you just gotta that's what people gotta do, I think, is just adapt right now. That's the best thing we can do, right? Like,
No,
I mean,
yeah.
man, you can beat yourself down, dude, so much, and then it's like, I don't know, while you're beating yourself down, everything else is adapting around you. So it's like, adapt to it, you know, let's overcome this. And then, like, when things maybe get back to, you know, if there is a normal, right? Like, if there is something to the extent of, like, let's say prices go back to what they were, then, like, now we're used to paying that much. You would get maybe another extra figure in the collection, something like to that extent, or, you know, so I don't know, for the best.
No, yeah,
Like
and I
I do.
think yeah, and I think you building those connections, like I said, with your customers and stuff is going to keep them loyal, even if they do decide to start, you know, slimming down on their collection. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like with stuff they do pick up, they're still going to support you and come to you for it. You know what I mean? It's because you have that connection and that relationship with them. You know, so I
Yeah.
think you guys will weather the storm pretty well because, like I said, you've built that relationship and that connection with those customers, and you continue to do that. You know, so I think you're on the right
Right.
path, man.
Yeah, and I think too, like man, with smaller business like myself, you know, or even if I just put myself in just one category, like just my store alone, right? Just speak for myself. Maybe not bring in as much, you know, like maybe that's the common denominator here is like, hey, don't bring as much figures. You know, if let's say I'm bringing in 300 pieces of this, I don't bring 300 pieces. I bring in whatever, something less, so that it's just makes sense for the price increases. It makes sense for the small business not to take that hit. But again, it's you gotta set yourself up for that what if.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good that you
And
look ahead of, you know, a few steps ahead. That's always good.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, but also just understand, like, you know, people are going to be, they're not going to be happy with the prices, you know, it's going to be, I mean, I definitely have my share of like comments back on certain things like that, but I think for the most part, I am going to be understandable for some of them, when it comes through. Cause it's like, I get it. Like I mean, you're almost kind of telling someone they can't collect in a way. I mean, it literally adds up. I mean, it's kind of like, and I don't want like the community to take on the notion. And I hope like this is one message like to tell like people just to like remember this. There's going to be some comments where people are going to be like, well, I can't afford that. It's, you know, $24.99 or $26.99. And some people might be like, well, maybe you shouldn't be collecting or something to that extent, right?
Mm-hmm.
People got to understand, and I'll just be straight up with it. Like years ago, I would collect, and maybe like that was a lot, and maybe my priority should have been somewhere else, but that took me out of a different spot.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, people just got to remember that, especially now. Like, you don't know where it's going to take you. You don't know how much it's going to mean to you. That figure, you can hold on to that in a different sentimental aspect. So, just got to be more understanding. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm sorry, you cut out a bit. Are we good? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we're good. I didn't realize it cut out. I thought it was still going, but no, I basically just said people just got to be kind of more understanding in that
No, yeah.
sense, and just kind of you know.
No, yeah, like you said, you know, everything's increasing. You go to the supermarket and you look at prices, things are increasing. I think for like a regular bag of chips, it's like almost $5 now. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
it's insane at this point, you know. But yeah, everything's getting hit with it, and hopefully at some point within the next year or two, everything will subside. And I don't know if prices will ever go back down, but maybe companies will be able to put a little bit more into their product for that price point.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm hoping. Like, all right, the prices increase, then because man, like with 2020, there were so many releases. Like it wasn't just Star Wars
Mm-hmm.
Black Series and Winter's Collection. It was like NECA, Super 7. I mean, like, I think did we get one or two HasLabs in 2020? I think we got two. I think we got Galactus and the Razor Crest, or not
Yeah.
Galactus.
No, the
The
Sentinel.
Sentinel and the Razor Crest.
Yeah. And then
So
this year
like
we
that's what I'm
got what,
saying. Like,
five?
yeah. So it's like I just hope that's like. I mean, I get it too. Like, I really do get it. Like, I want to list as much stuff as I can as a small business, and it's like, I get it, right? But I just hope like maybe, and I don't know, man. It's just funny when you start to say things out loud. You kind of realize like, that kind of sounds kind of silly because like I'm talking like, I think I was just thinking in like Star Wars terms. Like, there's a Star Wars HasLab, you know, just released that, but it's like, man, there's GI Joe fans that don't care about Star Wars. There's Marvel fans that don't care about Star Wars, or they appreciate it, but they're not going to go back it. So
Mm-hmm.
we gotta. It's not their fault or our fault that we want to back everything, you know. So like, but I just hope
No,
there's
yeah.
some kind of emphasis. But yeah, I got my
No,
kids in the
yeah. They're all
background.
having fun and stuff.
Man, they're like I got them the little Mission Fleet Razor Crest,
Oh, how is
mainly
that?
because like I wanted it. I wanted to open it. I thought it was cool, but I got it from my son, and I got my daughter the. It doesn't work, but it's that plush Boba Fett. It's got like
Mm.
something where it's supposed to, I don't know, say whatever it is to you. But so I gave them that, and man, they're like the little Jawas, dude. They like ripped apart the Razor Crest, like it's missing the door, it's missing the hatch, it's missing the wings, and like the cockpit's gone, all that stuff's gone. I don't know where the figures are, but it's hilarious.
Yep, yep, that's kids, right? They have all the fun
Yeah,
with those things.
yeah.
Takes you back,
It's
doesn't
like,
it? Just a bit.
yeah. Yep. That's why we got all their. So what I do whenever I give them like a figure like that or play set or vehicle, I give them like the big part of it, and then I take the little pieces and I put
Mm.
them away in a little Ziploc bag. So no matter what, like, so we got my daughter like a Barbie playhouse thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we pretty much like we gave her like all the major stuff on it except for like all the small stuff. So those are
Mm-hmm.
hidden aside. So when she gets a little bit older, she'll know about it. She'll want to play with it. It's good as new, whatever. And then just
Yeah.
give her the extra pieces and makes it new, you know?
No, yeah, exactly. And then at that point, she's old enough to be like, okay, once I'm done, throw these in the bag, put them back, and I know where they're at.
Yeah.
So, real quick, do you want to talk about any kind of future figures that you're excited for in 2022, whether it be G.I. Joe, Star Wars Black Series, any kind of line?
Yeah. I guess with Star Wars, I'll probably not go into too much detail because I know some of the stuff that's coming. So I am
Yeah.
pretty excited about that. We all know this coming, so I'll just kind of keep it somewhat simple and cliche. But I am pretty excited about the upcoming. It was a what is it? A pipeline reveal they call it, and it was the Darth Vader, the Force effects, the elite version lightsaber. I'm
Oh.
really excited about that. They showed that on the reveal not too long ago with Hasbro, and the reason I'm excited about it is because I couldn't wait to get those Ray. It's kind of behind me up there, the Ray
Hmm.
lightsaber, just because
Oh,
of
okay, yeah.
like love that rustic look to it, man. Like it's like Jedi Fallen Order like to me. So that's
Hmm.
like huge thing. Um, the weight of that is incredible. I have not opened the dark saber yet.
Hmm.
I do have one coming, so I want to be able to open it and just kind of see it. I hear that the hilt is very heavy on that too. So that's what I'm really excited about that for Star Wars. Like I can't wait to see how much detail they put into this. Um, and I think they're going to go. There's a certain um, design element that was placed on the sideshow collectibles Return of the Jedi Darth Vader on his lightsaber.
Hmm.
I think they're going to do that same thing on there, and because it's right around the anniversary Return of the Jedi when that's going to come out. So I hope that's where they go with it, and I'm super excited about that. Um, GI Joe, all the reveals that they just showed us on the live stream a couple of days ago. I
Hmm.
cannot wait for those. I cannot wait for those O-ring figures. I can't wait for that Viper army building 3-pack.
Yeah, that looks good.
Like I love that. I hope that sells out in seconds. I hate to say it. I'm sorry. I know people are gonna get mad at that, but I'm telling you why. Because to me, it's like if that sells out in seconds, like that to me is gonna send what I hope would be like some kind of a shockwave within Hasbro to be like, okay, let's do
Hmm.
this for like Black Series Stormtroopers, Black Series Rebel Troopers, like
Oh,
you
okay,
know,
okay.
because this is really the first 6-inch scale army building pack that we're getting right from Hasbro. So it's like, man, you can do that with Power Rangers, you can do that with GI Joe. I mean, not GI Joe, you can do it with because you're already doing GI Joe, but you can do it with Star Wars, you can do it with everything. So mainly Black Series. So that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be, hopefully, but you'd have to wonder what the price point is because they didn't announce that.
So I don't know how pricing works. I really don't. So like I'm throwing out a completely just random thought and idea here.
Hmm.
Um, I wonder if there's price increases for the box art, which I venture to think there is, whether it's a card back, and I'm just gonna go with we'll just go with GI Joe for right now, right? So you got those box art; they're beautiful, they look awesome. I mean, the detail that's in them, they've done a fantastic job. That really sells me. Um,
Hmm.
but if you don't have that, you have less plastic, less cardboard to the extent of, I mean, I think so. If they're, let's say, normal prices right now are $22.99, roughly $23.99.
Hmm.
Let's say it shaves off $1, $2 each, so probably like a $49.99 price point.
That's not
But
bad
now
for
with
three six
with the
inch.
price increases,
Uh,
no.
mhm.
But that's my theory on it.
No, yeah,
It depends on
but
how many weapons they come with too.
yeah, that's true because these were only renders, huh? So we don't even know when exactly we're getting these.
Yeah, and anytime they show renders, there's always those extra like accessories that they add thereafter.
Hmm.
Like so we don't know like where they're going to go with it. And they honestly probably very well could add a ton of accessories on those, like whether it's different backpacks, different guns, different goggles, whatever they want to add to it. They can add so many things to that set that is just going to make you like, okay, man, I can justify that price point, which I hope they do. It'd be pretty cool.
No,
But
yeah,
either way, like no matter what the price is, everyone's gonna buy it because it's like it's the first time. You got to have that.
Yeah, and it's an army builder, so you're gonna have collectors and toy photographers just going for that
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
so that'll be great. So is there any other lines that you're looking forward to for any figures? I know you kind of have a few Mezcos on your site. Do you collect Mezcos personally or no?
I never have. It's the first thing I've kind of gotten into. I do have some on order, mainly Star Wars versions, so I'm kind of waiting for those to get in. These will be the first that I've had like in hand. But it's one of those things. Um, I did a poll on my site on my story,
Hmm.
and I kind of gave everyone an option like, hey, what lines do you want us to bring in? Like, was it as a question? And Mezco was on there the most out of everything. I mean, so that's why we're bringing in Mezco, to be perfectly honest. I love
Hmm.
it. It's just one of those lines where it's like I'm not 100% an opener. I'm venturing into it,
Yeah.
so I don't see personally the I hate to say it like this because I see the value, but I don't see the value because I'm not going to open it, right? So I don't. I'd rather, if I'm going to spend 100 to 150 bucks on a figure, I'd just rather get a few Black Series figures, a few GI Joe figures, or put it towards a hot toy of something that like I really want, like something that means something. But I
Hmm.
love the detail that they put in there for the scale. I think that's great.
No, yeah, I think they're the Hot Toys of like 6 inch scale, that in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Oh, absolutely. I missed out. I think it was Mezco that made the Mandalorian. There was a Mandalorian set. Was it Mezco that made that, or not Mezco?
No, no, I
Who
think it
who
might have
made
been
that one that?
Mafex.
No, there was a It's not Mezco. It starts with an M, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Is
Was
it
it? It's not
Mafex?
SH Figworks. It's another. I can't think of the company.
Hmm.
Shoot,
It's
I'm
not
trying to think.
Mafex.
That's it. That's where I get them. Mafex. I get them mixed up all the time, dude. I'm sorry, but they made that Mandalorian one. I was like so mad I missed out on that one. But
I'm mad I missed out on their. Or no, I think I'm thinking of the SH Figuarts Boba Fett. That's the one I'm mad I missed out on.
yeah, yeah, I missed out on that one too.
Ooh, that one looks
I just
good.
slept on it too long. I wasn't like worried about getting it.
I was
Crazy in the
waiting to see
background.
what black
You
suits.
got to treat it.
You're good. You're good.
They're just they
Uh,
like run around and fight each other, so they're both kicking each other's ass right now. So
they're being kids. They're enjoying life.
yeah, exactly.
Can't hate on that. So, Saturday Morning Comics wants to know: do you collect Transformers?
Slightly. I have a couple. I'm not like 100% like into the line because it's one of those where I did collect them as a kid. I did have a ton of those as a kid, and I know I'm gonna end up down the rabbit hole. So I will be 100% honest. I had that I don't know what you want to call that Optimus Prime, that deluxe $800 one from Pulse, that
Oh,
incredible piece. I had that on order, and
mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what? I, it was bad. I was like, I know I'm gonna get this, and I'm gonna want so many more. So yes and no. I have a couple, but I keep it simple. But I
Now,
love
do
where
you
they're going
guys?
with it.
I was gonna say, do you guys sell Transformers on your store?
We do, yeah, we do. I love
Yeah, I was gonna
bringing them
say
in.
you guys have.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I'm not too much into Transformers, so I kind of just like if I see Transformers, I just scroll by them and stuff. I'm more of like Star Wars, NECA, Mezco, Ninja Turtles, all that stuff. So I like the
yeah.
I like Transformers here and there, but it's never been a franchise that I'm like, oh, I need figures from that. You know what I mean?
I remember the cartoon as a kid. I remember watching it like
Mm,
and I love when obviously like growing up and once the movies came out with Shia LaBeouf in them, like dude, I was like all about it. Um, but I like it's one of the things like once I got out of it as a kid, I moved on to different lines. I lived it, so I'm like I know like they're cool and they look. I mean, we did get so we got the Beast Wars, the T Rex that's like a purplish color to it.
yeah.
Unbelievable paint apps, and our case came in like completely crushed.
Ooh.
And so I was like, you know what? Like I could sell this and take a big loss on it, but honestly, like I don't want to take the chance. I don't know if anything's broken on it because it was really beat up.
Mm-hmm.
And took it out of the package and kind of gave it to the kiddos because they love dinosaurs. Like they have a lot of Jurassic Park stuff too. That's another line that they're into.
Mm.
Um, and I thought it was really cool, dude. Like it was really, really cool. Like it was crazy how complex those are. I think that's incredible. Like I don't think like that team gets enough credit for like designing those things. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. Like that was probably like, not that big, like once you build it, right? And
Yeah.
the amount of how complex it was to try to figure out like how everything connects and difficult. Like I've never messed around with them, you know, for like the new era version, but they're pretty cool, man. And the paint apps on there are incredible. Like I love the different, like the way it shades into each other. It's so cool.
Oh yeah, I've seen some people like mess around with those, and I'm just like, yeah, one, I'm just not that much into the line, but two, it looks like a very complicated
Yeah.
figure to play with and mess with.
It is because like, and it's funny. People are like, man, this guy can't do Transformers, can't build them, and it's like, you know, because so if you're not an opener, and then you have that, you're like, well, I don't know what I can move, and I don't want to break anything, you know, because it does feel kind of delicate, but you know, but again, it's cool. It's really cool. I don't know where it is though. I think it's in a box now, packed away.
You'll find it eventually, right?
Yeah, I do wish I backed the Unicron though.
Oh yeah, that thing I heard was huge.
Man, it was so cool. You know, and that's like I hope that this gets out some way. Like I wish that they would show the box. Like whenever you're doing a project. Yeah, because like so I'll give you a perfect example. The Sideshow Collectables Jabba the Hutt, the deluxe figure.
Mm-hmm.
That thing just looks awesome. Like, and you know, like for the quality that they provide, you know how cool it's got to be, like the hand sewn pillows and all those kinds of things, right? There's a guy on YouTube, very well liked guy. He's got a twin brother, and they kind of do different collection videos and tours and so forth. But he's mainly like he collects like a lot of higher end collectibles. He's got, you know, he collects the Black Series with the lightsabers and the role play items and stuff like that. But he's got a lot of like hot toys and then the Sideshow like statues and so forth. But he did an awesome unboxing video of that Jabba the Hutt, and the box that it comes in, man, is like, it reminded me of the barge, like how that barge like looks and just how massive the box is and the detail on it. I mean, like the bottom of the base of Jabba, and it's got like, you know, I forget what it was, like imagery and so forth, but it was just so cool, man, so cool, and it sells you. So now I want to.
Oh yeah.
So you know, people want that art, man. People want like they love, like I love it. I think it's cool. It's a big thing for a lot of collectors.
No, yeah, and like I said, you know, a lot of work goes into those box arts and stuff, so it makes sense, you know.
Yeah, like I love the Sentinel box. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah,
I can't wait to see it practice
amazing. Oh right.
Oh. So
what
cool.
about the Razor?
I mean,
well,
they did it
already
perfectly.
seen the Razor Crest one, right?
Yeah, I mean, anytime they do a vintage collection HasLab, like so far the two times that they've done it, they've nailed it. I mean, and I shouldn't even say just HasLab. Like, look at the AT-ATs that they did. Look at the Millennium Falcon, the Toys R Us exclusive one. You know, just list goes on, right? The B-Wing, I think it was, or was it the Y-Wing? Kmart. I can't remember which one. I think it was at Kmart. But even those, like going back to like the original, you know, stuff that started coming out in 2010 and up until now, they just absolutely nail the nostalgia on there. I mean, they don't miss a beat. It's just perfect. I mean, it's so cool. And the fact that they're able to incorporate, I don't know if they talk about this a lot, but I love it. Like, toys from like the 80s will show like the kids playing with it and, you know, on the box, but they're able to do that in a different light now. And I think that's really cool that they still kind of pay homage to that, but stick with where they're headed. And I think it's awesome.
No, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Making it for everybody. Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right. Always, you know, on those packaging and those card arts, they always look pretty good and stuff. And especially like you said, you know, they bring back those memories of like those vintage box sets that we used to see back in the day, where, like you said, you would have kids playing on the box and stuff. So, you know, that's great. Yeah. You know, so it always comes full circle, man.
Yeah, and like with the Razor Crest, I loved when they showed us like the behind the scenes, and they had the guys like kind of setting up the rock wall and like the, you know, putting the sand out there because man, you remember like, oh my gosh, man, it was just so many commercials, but just remember like just some of those. I was like Tyco. Back in like the 80s, they would do those commercials where, you know, you always had that same guy just like overly excited and like, oh, this new figure, and it's like this truck comes like running through like this plate, you know, this little area that they designed with the sand, and you're just like, man, I have to get it because I need that display base. And then it's like you get it in hand, you're like playing with it in your kitchen. It was like you never had that commercial. I like that stuff. It's cool.
No, yeah. Have you seen like the new like stop motion NECA commercials that they're doing?
Yeah, that's pretty
Those
cool.
things, yeah, those are very reminiscent of like old school toy commercials and stuff.
Yeah, they know what they're doing with that too, man. They don't miss a beat. NECA's doing freaking amazing work. They're so good.
Oh yeah. So, you don't carry any NECA product currently, do you?
No, working on it. I'm trying to. Um,
Oh, what are you trying to get
so
from them?
so I want to be able to bring in Ninja Turtles. I want to be able to get their product in.
Mm-hmm.
With so like some of the companies like that, like for Sideshow Collectibles, for example, or like going through them or getting Hot Toys in, you need to have like a physical storefront. So
Mm,
there's a lot of brands it takes us out of, and then obviously there's an ordering threshold and those kind of things for like bigger orders and so forth. So those are just like all the things that we just want to work towards. Like I would love to get into the NECA market, because one, like I don't collect a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like I don't have a lot of them, but when I was a
mm,
kid, I did. I still have an appreciation for it. I just choose not to collect it just because of where my focus is on what I'm into right now, right? But
mm-hmm,
for the most part, like with Jason and then with a couple other individuals out here, I mean, there's a huge market for them. Like, I mean, literally, like from going around and like I was searching for the Turtles in Disguise pack for him,
mm-hmm,
and we were trying to like help each other out, find it for one, and found out that like some of these reps that go and drop these products off of these stores, like they were like being harassed by like people. Like that's how many people were like going after trying to find these products. So there's a huge market for them out here. So I
mm-hmm.
definitely want to get out those and bring those in, especially like on the exclusive stuff, like be able to help people get those at normal prices and stuff. Because they're already a high premium anyway, like those box sets are like
Mm-hmm.
$200 a piece. Same when they go up to like $300-$400.
No, yeah, it's the world we live in at this point, you know. So, that's great that you're making an effort to do that for the community and whatnot. And I'm sure eventually, soon in the next few months, you'll start bringing in some NECA turtles for the community.
Yeah, for sure. Just keep working at it.
Well, I'm sure you'll get at it, man, because like I
Yeah.
said, you work hard, you put a lot of work and effort into this business. I see you constantly online, marketing, pushing, answering questions. You guys are constantly, even like you said, giving back to the community. I mean, every time you hit a milestone on your following, you guys do a giveaway, right?
Yeah. We're actually, so we're working at, so it's funny. I'm trying to get to 10,000. That's like the big goal, and it's not for
Mm-hmm.
the number. It's for the algorithms that open up. So
Mm,
so there's a as a business there's an add-on for Instagram and stories where you're able to add like direct links to your site. And I would
okay.
love to be able to do like instead of a post that's a story, hey, swipe up feature. And you might go on some pages and they have a ton of followers and you go on there and you can swipe up on their story and go to that link.
Mm-hmm.
It opens that up for you at 10,000. So like we're really trying to get to there for that's like the big thing. Like once I get that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I finally got that swipe up feature. And then I'm like, then I worry like I'm gonna get to like 900, 9,999 people. I'm like, oh man, there it goes, it's gone. But no, we're at 8,500, I forget the one we're giving away, but we're literally doing one at 8,500, one at 9,000, 9,500, and then at 10,000. The 10,000 follower giveaway is going to be insane. Basically, one person's going to win like one wave of the new archive wave that they did the pipeline reveal on with Palpatine.
Mm.
Um, the wave with the Death Watch Mandalorian, and I think it's the wave with the Tython Boba Fett and the Jedha Patrol Trooper. So you're going to basically get all three. Like someone's going to get a case of one of those waves, all of those waves.
Oh wow, that's a great prize.
Yeah.
And
So
then
it's pretty
you
cool.
guys
The
give
prize
away
was
also
supposed to
hot
be the
toys and stuff.
hazmat.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Was that? No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was say your prior giveaways were like what Hot Toys and other Black Series figures as well.
We haven't done any hot toys. We did. We called them waffles so that we didn't get taken off. It was basically just to kind of like keep everything kind of going, and we just gave people an opportunity because not everyone's going to drop $300-$400 on a hot toy.
Mm-hmm.
So we just basically did like X amount of spots at $20 a spot, and people had the opportunity to win those items. Some of them had gone up, so I just kind of based it off that and just went off what their current market thing was, but giving people an opportunity at it. So like, yeah, I guess, in that regard, it was definitely, higher price premium for it, but it was also just to kind of be a fun approach towards getting that item. But mainly been Black Series product that's been given away, but we've always tried to go like big with it, The prize for the 10,000 followers, the main prize was supposed to be the Black Series HasLab, and unfortunately that didn't go through. So we switched it up, and that's when we did okay, at every increments of 500, we're going to give this away, that away, and then at 10,000, we'll do 3 cases. So hopefully that'll be equivalent to the Black Series HasLab, something like a WoW,
Yeah. So do you guys know what your next giveaway is going to be? What the product is?
It's, you know what? It slipped my mind. I can probably pull it up here because I have there's so many things we're giving away. I think at 9,500 it was the red and black box Rex. So I'll tell you right now, it's pretty cool. Like I'm excited to see where it goes. Like I want to see people really excited about it.
No, yeah, it seems like people in the chat are pretty excited. So hopefully, they are already following you, and if not, they should be following you to help get you to that 10K.
Yeah, we're there. We're almost there. We're at 82.15 as of today. So hopefully that continues. So let's see. Here it is. Okay, so at 9,500 followers, it's the Amazon Bad Batch 4-pack exclusive. Okay. So forgive me. I basically changed this up a whole bunch of times because everything kind of threw me off. When that wasn't backed, I literally went back and I was like, I want to make this special. Like I didn't want it to be. So I did the increments of 500 because I was like, there's so many people on here that have been following us for so long. Like it shouldn't just be I start giving stuff away for newer followers. I want to be able to hook up the people that have been here for a while. So how do I do that? So that's why I did the increments of 500, right? So 7,500 followers was the Artillery Stormtrooper exclusive from Amazon, which is a cool figure. 8,000 followers, they got the George Lucas Stormtrooper Disguise Black Series figure. 8,500 followers is the Death Watch Mandalorian. At 9,000 followers, I thought these are going to be really hard to find, so people might not be excited about this, and I kind of get it, but I just don't want to keep switching it up. 9,000 followers is Ponda Baba and the Yavin Leia from Black Series. You get both of those together.
Nice.
But I kind of look at the value. It's retail value, so it's basically $44, give or take. So I thought it was pretty cool. And at 9,500 followers, we're doing 3 giveaways. So we're going to choose 3 winners. One person's going to win the Rex in the black and red box. Another person's going to win the Bad Batch Rex, the Walmart exclusive. And another one's going to win the Amazon Bad Batch 4-pack. And then the main prize winner at 10,000 followers is Wave 31 Black Series, Wave 32, and Archive Wave 5.
Well, there you guys go. If you guys want to enter and get a chance, go and give Old Republic Collectables a follow and get them to that 10K or that next, was it 8.5? Is that your next one?
Yeah, we're at 8.5. Yeah, 8.5, and just go from there. I think from there, it'll soar.
Oh, I'm sure it will, man. I'm sure it will. So I don't want to take up too much more of your time tonight because I'm sure you're busy running the business and, you have your family and your kids and whatnot. So is there anything else you want to end this stream with? Anything you want to plug, you want to say? I know we've talked a lot about different things that you're doing, your future and stuff, but, just to consolidate it all, you want to reiterate your membership, your Patreon, anything you want to say so that people that have just joined can, know and have that info?
Man, it's all there for everyone to kind of see. Just give us a follow. It's always there. The Patreon, I mean, like I said in the beginning, it's there to help support, to kind of see where we want to go with the vision, but also to give back. Every member that signs up for that, subscriber, I should say, you get a free gift every month, and just kind of work with us on that. We'll send it out. Whether you get it the 1st of the month or the 5th of the month, it'll be sent out each month to you. And it's going to be either a Funko Pop, a Black Series figure, a vintage collection figure, but something to add to your collection, or if it's a Marvel figure, what have you, or G.I. Joe. But we just want to be able to, keep adding to it, be able to bring in more product that's going to be able to grow our business, but at the same time, we just want to make sure we're giving back. We don't want to, accept any subscribers without giving back. But man, I'm excited that you do this. This is cool. Like, I love how you have like a whole like week kind of set up and you're, reaching out to everybody. And I am like seriously honored that you asked me to do this.
No, I'm honored that you came on, man. Thank you so much for replying and coming on. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it's so cool. So definitely excited, man. We'll do more hopefully. And, but, I guess I should ask you a question. So like, I mean, I want to know like not to keep up too much of your time, but like what got you into collecting? Because I know you have a really like unique kind of like setup with your life and so forth. I know you're avid into bodybuilding, which is really cool. That's pretty awesome, man. I'm kind of trying to do that myself as much as I can. It's definitely it's a lifestyle, dude. So kudos to you to do all that. But like, what's your favorite? What's the biggest thing for you collecting? Like, what's one thing that you love about it?
For me, it was just the ties to what I loved as a kid. I've always had a bunch of toys growing up, and thankfully my
Yeah,
parents never got rid of them. They just put them away and stuck them in the garage. And so as I got older, I kind of looked back at them and I was like, oh, this is really cool and stuff. And then I was like, you know what? I have a decent collection. I want to share with people. As a collector, you share with your friends and family, but then with social media, we realize like there's so many more people out there like us that they may not be in the same city. Like you and I are in different states, but we're
yeah,
both into collecting and stuff. And so it makes it easier to connect. And so I was like, you know what? I kind of want to start posting, my collection on the internet, on Instagram and stuff. And then I realized that as cool as toys were back in the day, they're a lot cooler now, the
yeah,
stuff that they're pumping out. And so
yeah,
that's what really got me into it. I was really into Star Wars. I loved Clone Troopers as a kid, and seeing the new Black Series Star Wars Clone Troopers at like 6 inch, it's like that's what I wanted as a kid, larger versions. But back then, if you wanted a larger version, it was a lot more money than, a five, six, $7 figure in the Star
yeah,
Wars line. So
yeah,
when I saw that, I started getting into it. And then obviously, like I've said before, rabbit holes, one after the other. You got Ninja Turtles, Star Wars, Batman, Spider-Man, and then you have Back to the Future, and you know what I mean? So it just went
yeah.
completely crazy. And I just had a lot of fun, going back into collecting and seeing different people. And toy photography really got me back into it as well, seeing how people create art with their toys and stuff. Because me personally, I've had a creative aspect of myself, but I've never been able to draw and do a lot of things artistically. Like I
Mhm.
couldn't even draw stick figures. But growing up, I was able to really put together like action scenes with my action figures and stuff. So when I saw that now, that's like a whole new thing on Instagram. I got really excited. I got really into it. And basically, like I said from the start, I wanted to connect with more people in the community. And that's why I started a YouTube, to get more comments and stuff. And then I was like, you know what? I need to get in front of the camera and connect with other collectors and other people in the community. And that's when I
Yeah,
started this.
it's awesome. No, I love it, dude. That's so cool. Keep doing it, dude, because you're good at it. And it's like I said, it's really cool that to me, it's like, man, one thing I always remember is when I came on here, like my first thing was like, if I had one follower that gave a crap about what I had to say, that was like the best thing. And to see where it's at right now, like it's just mind boggling. It's humbling, and it's a blessing, man. And I'm like so appreciative of it. So like to have anyone reach out to be like, hey, like, do you want to come on a live, dude? It's such a cool feeling. So again, like seriously, thank you so much for having me on and talking about our store and then even supporting us too, like following us and everything between. So very cool stuff, dude. Very cool stuff. Keep up everything, man.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. And you're always welcome to come back on if you ever want to come on and promote something that you're
For
doing
sure.
special, or just want to come on and talk some toys. Just,
Yeah.
shoot me a message and I'll put you into the schedule, man. I'll fit you in.
Yeah. That sounds good, dude. Definitely would like to do that, man.
Well, sounds good. And I don't know if you'll be here next Wednesday. I'll be talking to your friend Jason from Work More or Less.
Yep, I'll be on that one for sure. That's gonna
I'm
be pretty
excited to
cool.
talk to him.
Yeah, he's great people, man. You're gonna love talking to him. The way like he's become a very good friend, man. He's very good people. So and he's very well spoken. So he brings up like incredible like I guess like just the way he looks at the details of collecting. Like you talked about like the figure photography aspect of it.
Hmm.
It makes it like a totally different experience. So it definitely got me wanting to collect more lines. talking to him, I told him, I was like, it's a good thing, but a bad thing we're friends. I want lines I didn't want before, but it's cool. Like I said, it brings you into different, different perspectives all around. So,
No, yeah.
I'll find out everyone's in that area. Yep.
No, yeah. So thank you once
Cool.
again, man. Once again, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day. I know you're busy running the business, busy, with your family and stuff. So thank you. I really do appreciate it. Everybody. If you haven't already, go and check out Old Republic Collectables. Follow them, support them, and stay tuned for more giveaways and whatnot from Phil right here. He's really giving back to the community. He's looking out for you guys. So if you guys want a store that cares about you, check them out.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem, man. So I'll let you get back to your family and the business. So have a good rest of your night. And like I said, just shoot me a DM whenever you want to come on, and I'd be happy to have you back on.
Will do, man. Have a good one.
Have a good night, man.
All right. See ya.
Bye. All right, guys. Thank you so much to everyone that joined us and commented and watched during the live show or the replay. I really appreciate you guys joining me, and tune in next Wednesday for episode 5 of Coffee and Toys, where I will be talking to Jason, or as you guys probably know him better, the one and only, the great Work More or Less. But until then, as always, have a great fucking day, guys. Thank you so much for sticking to the end of this video. If you enjoyed those pics, you can find the full images over on Instagram at CoolFigurez. And I do have a separate Instagram account for my more thought out, planned out, more edited pics called Epic Shots by CoolFigurez. Check it out. If you like what you see, leave me a follow there as well. And if you guys want to see the unboxing of any figures I do reviews on for this channel, go ahead and check me out over on TikTok at CoolFigurez. That's where I post all my unboxings. And join me every Sunday morning for Coffee and Toys, a weekly toy news, toy talk podcast where we will go over all the latest and great toy news, reveals, pre-orders, and so much more. If you did enjoy this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. But whether or not you're a subscriber, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to listen to me talk about toys. I really appreciate it. As always, I'm your host, Jess the Bat Madrigal, aka the Buff Collector. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Thank you so much to this channel sponsor, CoolFigurez Store. Check them out for all your Funko Pop, anime, Pokemon card, and toy print needs. And of course, use code CoolFigurez at checkout for 10% off your order. CoolFigurez Store. Check them out, guys.